trying. Better just pick a corner and start crying. I'll be the one they looked up to when all crashing down. I was born for the throne, I look good in that crown. When the lights go out, we start moving, running through it all that dough. We ain't losing, we ain't gonna fall back, now we going in. Ain't nobody stopping us, only option to win. So we take it all, never fall on gas. And we going hard, no flaws, all facts. If you wanna call it a bluff, let's dance. But you better trust that you stand no chance. We on that next level. We on that next level. I look good in that crown. We on that next level.
Welcome to the FIFAe Club World Cup, where the top players from the world's best clubs battle it out to become one of 6 FIFAe Club World Cup 2021 zone winners. To make it to the zone finals, the clubs went through a tough qualification process. Let's take a step back and look at how the clubs made it here. The FIFAe Club online qualifiers were split into 6 zones. In each zone, the clubs were divided into different conferences, where they competed in up to 3 divisions. Based on their performances, clubs moved up or down in the divisions. The qualifiers ran over the course of 4 weeks with multiple rounds. Every week, the competition got tougher as the bottom divisions dropped off. Clubs fought to secure their spot in the zone finals by means of a consistency ranking or by being the best placed club in the final week of qualifiers. After an action-packed qualification round, the 42 best clubs from all over the world are competing in 6 zones. Let's have a look at how the zone finals are set up. Like the qualifiers, the zone finals are split into 6 different zones. Zones have been divided into different groups based on the number of participating clubs in each zone. Clubs have battled it out in a round-robin style competition, which means that every club has competed against one another. This setup continued to knockout stages and now culminates in a zone final with the 2 best clubs. By the end of the FIFAe Club World Cup 2021, the 6 zone winners will be crowned.
Yeah, show me my opponent. Top spot, I want it. My grind, I'm on it. Can't stop, keep going. Wanna know me, can't clone me. I remember feeling lonely. I remember when they told me I would never get the trophy. Show me my opponent. Top spot, I want it. My grind, I'm on it. Can't stop, keep going. Wanna know me, can't clone me. I remember feeling hungry. Now I'm coming for the trophy. Cause this is my moment. I'm a boss till I fall, I'ma answer the call. I'm a beast, I'm a dog, and my back against the wall. I accept every challenge, had to battle for my balance. From a peasant to the palace, treat the trophy like a chalice. Stayed on my grind, great things take time. Now how I shine, you might go blind. Come along for the ride, cause I'm headed to the top with it. Going is my only option, they can never ever stop this. Show me my opponent, top spot, I want it. My grind, I'm on it. Can't stop, keep going. Wanna know me, can't clone me. I remember feeling lonely. I remember when they told me I would never get the trophy. Show me my opponent. Top spot, I want it. My grind, I'm on it. Can't stop, keep going. Wanna know me, can't clone me. I remember feeling hungry. Now I'm coming for the trophy. Cause this is my moment. My moment. So many days, so many nights. I had to fall, I had to fight, I had to find the strength inside, keep hope alive. Through the dark, I found my light and now I shine. So many days, so many nights. I had to fall, I had to fight, I had to find the strength inside, keep hope alive. Through the dark, I found the light and now it's mine. Now cause this is my moment.
Give me the money, give me the loot, give me the racks. Give me the hundreds, give me the skrilla, give me the stacks. Give me the bread, give me the G's, give me the cash. Give me the feta, give me the cheese, give me the bag. Yeah, I want it, give me the bag. Yeah, I need it, give me the bag. I be on it, give me the bag. Yeah, I see it, give me the bag. Ain't no stopping, give me the bag. I'ma make it, give me the bag. If you got it, give me the bag. I'ma take it, give me the bag. Yeah, I want it, give me the bag. Yeah, I need it, give me the bag. I be on it, give me the bag. Yeah, I see it, give me the bag. Ain't no stopping, give me the bag. I'ma make it, give me the bag. If you got it, give me the bag. I'ma take it, give me the bag. Now give me that, come up off that, cause I want that. You can see that, I'ma need that. Show me where the G's at, where you keep that. I ain't looking for no feedback. Just the G's, man. You should know that I'm a glutton for money, cash. Though if you got it, pass that over to me, cause if I want it fast. I'm slacking them dollars. You know what I'm about, plus I be popping them collars. We in and we out. I got confessions and obsessions for getting the bag. Here's a lesson, just stay flexible when getting the stag. I want the 10s, 20s, 50s, 100 and more, but you should already know because you said it before. Give me the money, give me the loot, give me the racks. Give me the hundreds, give me the skrilla, give me the stacks. Give me the bread, give me the G's, give me the cash. Give me the feta, give me the cheese, give me the bag. Yeah, I want it, give me the bag. Yeah, I need it, give me the bag. I be on it, give me the bag. Yeah, I see it, give me the bag. Ain't no stopping, give me the bag. I'ma make it, give me the bag. If you got it, give me the bag. I'ma take it, give me the bag. Yeah, I want it, give me the bag. Yeah, I need it, give me the bag. I be on it, give me the bag. Yeah, I see it, give me the bag. Ain't no stopping, give me the bag. I'ma make it, give me the bag. If you got it, give me the bag. I'ma take it, give me the bag. I be getting my dough up, that's like a cold cut. So much I'ma throw up, man, I gotta eat. Here go the proof, new, and not the old buck. Come, no, it don't slow up. That's what I'ma hold up. All this money going straight to the roof. I just be stacking my money though. More give me more. Yeah, whole lot of rolls around my waist. Skinny but fat, I got tummy roll. The flavor we talking, the money flow. My pockets to see where the money go. Whole lot of dough, I'm getting cake. No candle, neither I'm very yo. I'ma get bread, hits and I'm dead. Gotta get it by the loaf. Bitch in my head, my favorite bread. Man, you always got my vote. Gotta get it coast to coast. In the era on the boat. Money, money, I promote. Seriously, it ain't a joke. Give me the money, give me the loot, give me the racks. Give me the hundreds, give me the skrilla, give me the stacks. Give me the bread, give me the G's, give me the cash. Give me the feta, give me the cheese, give me the bag. Yeah, I want it, give me the bag. Yeah, I need it, give me the bag. I be on it, give me the bag. Yeah, I see it, give me the bag. Ain't no stopping, give me the bag. I'ma make it, give me the bag. If you got it, give me the bag. I'ma take it, give me the bag. Yeah, I want it, give me the bag. Yeah, I need it, give me the bag. I be on it, give me the bag. Yeah, I see it, give me the bag. Ain't no stopping, give me the bag. I'ma make it, give me the bag. If you got it, give me the bag. I'ma take it, give me the bag.
And we taking our time. Yeah, it's all about the vibes. Okay.
We're taking it slow. We're just taking our time. We're just living our lives. We got nowhere to go. So let's stay here the whole night. Cause all we feel is good vibes. Yeah, all we feel is good
We
vibes.
vibe with it, it's a good time. We don't worry about the hate. We just pass it to the side, grab a drink, pull it up, say what's good, feeling right. All your friends, they invited, bring a bottle through the night. Tell them, we gon' get it lit, we gon' get it lit. Get a little throw, get a little bent, have a good time. Ay, and you don't need a vent. On tilt, we gon' really get it in, right? Right. Ain't no time to be lazy, oh no. I got a dozen girls coming, they crazy for show. And not a single girl rating an 8 or below. I swear to God, they gon' love it the way that I flow. Hey, yeah, and we gon' take it slow. Spending time while you turn up at a vacant show. You can take your time, shawty, you don't need to go. We at a house party chillin' if you need to know.
We're taking it slow. We're just taking our time. We're just living our lives. We got nowhere to go. So let's stay here the whole night. Cause all we feel is good vibes. Yeah, all we feel is good vibes.
I've been vibing with you from the jump. See the crib, I ain't even got a stunt. Making hits, I don't ever try to blunt. When I pull up, everybody wanna front now. They acting brand new every time I touch down. And to my haters, all I gotta say is what now? They say hello to the new whip, flirt with your new chick. All on TMZ, so the rights all exclusive. I'm playing with you. I know you playing too. We laying back in the cut, got the eagle view. I do this all the time, really ain't nothing new. I ain't frontin' on you, shorty, what I say is true. And now we chillin', we ain't worried about the biz though. Ay, stress-free, living like kids though. And if the vibe stay right like it is, when it's all said and done, we gon' end up more than friends.
We're taking it we're just taking our time. We're just living our lives. We got nowhere to go. So let's stay here the whole night. Cause all we feel is good vibes. Yeah, all we feel is good vibes.
I got my own, I drive my own car, I got my own whip. You already know it. Hey, y'all make noise and y'all just focus. I gotta focus. I do not hang around women that golden. You keep it noted. I get the money and y'all getting no biz. I don't do poses. I keep it pushing, yeah, I keep it coasting. Whole team rolling. Shorty act up so you know that I'm ghosting. My season approaching. I got the juice, yeah, I got the potion. Let's get to toasting. Drinking my cup, yeah, let's get to poke. Hey, what's up? Pour another in my cup. Hop in a whip, pull up, yeah. All of my girls show love, show love. They live in the hills, do drugs. Want more, now they can't get enough. Got my own thing, got my own thing. I don't do what everybody does, no. Hey, what's up, yeah. What's up, yeah. Hey, what's up, yeah. Stop playing. I gotta know what you saying. You telling me you a fan. Why you DM me from Japan? You gotta love it. I do this music, put nothing above it. I had a shorty, but I had to cut it, cause I had no time to give her what she wanted. I gotta get to the bag like ASAP. I want a brand new Maybach. Whole lot of people done doubted me. Me stunting on them is a payback. I hate to say that, but I'm buying whips and I pay cash. You should see where I stay at, cause they think I'm selling that A-flat. Hey, what's up? Pour another in my cup. Hop in a whip, pull up, yeah. All of my girls show love, show love. They live in the hills, do drugs. Want more, now they can't get enough. Got my own thing, got my own thing. I don't do what everybody does, no. Hey, what's up, yeah. What's up, yeah. Hey, what's up, yeah. What's up, yeah. Hey, what's up? Pour another in my cup. Hop in a whip, pull up, yeah. All of my girls show love, show love. They live in the hills, do drugs. Want more, now they can't get enough. Got my own thing, got my own thing. I don't do what everybody does, no, no. Hey, what's up, yeah. Hey, what's up, yeah. Hey, what's up, yeah. Hey, what's up, yeah.
The 42 best clubs in the world, ready to write history and become legends of the badge. Ultimate glory is at stake, a chance to create a legacy at their fingertips, with dreams of achieving greatness, making their way to the biggest stage. But only 6 will be crowned this year's FIFAe Club World Cup Zone winners.
For the game, I came here for the sport. Run it, we gon' stay 100. Run it, give it all or nothing.
How you doing?
Very good, you ready?
Good, let's go, let's do this. Hello and welcome to the FIFAe Club World Cup 2021. My name's Layla Annalee and I'm joined by the Spencer Owen. Qualifications for this event started last year with over 450 teams entering. Today we are concentrating our coverage on Zone 4 Europe, where we're at the quarter-finals. 8 teams are left and they are battling it out to become zone champions. Spence, we are down to the knockout stages.
We are indeed. Delighted to be here. It's good to be out of the house, to be honest with you. It's been a while.
Out the house? This isn't where you live? I've only ever seen you in this setup.
I'm afraid not. This is very similar to my kitchen.
Yeah.
It's slightly different. But no, we are obviously here, but the players are at home.
Yes.
They're playing remotely for obvious reasons. But still a massive event, one of my favourite events in the FIFA calendar, and it's getting bigger every year.
And we could argue, with the size of it this year, that this is probably the most competitive year we've ever had.
I definitely agree with that. You know, it's the amount of teams that are trying to compete every year is getting bigger. It's a burgeoning sport in FIFA eSports. More people want to get involved, which makes it harder to be here. So the guys that we're going to see today have done so well.
Well, it's been a complex way of getting here, so we have a feature for you to do a breakdown for you of how they got to right now.
Welcome to the FIFAe Club World Cup, where the top players from the world's best clubs battle it out to become one of 6 FIFAe Club World Cup 2021 zone winners. To make it to the zone finals, the clubs went through a tough qualification process. Let's take a step back and look at how the clubs made it here. The FIFAe Club online qualifiers were split into 6 zones. In each zone, the clubs were divided into different conferences, where they competed in up to 3 divisions. Based on their performances, clubs moved up or down in the divisions. The qualifiers ran over the course of 4 weeks with multiple rounds. Every week, the competition got tougher as the bottom divisions dropped off. Clubs fought to secure their spot in the zone finals by means of a consistency ranking or by being the best placed club in the final week of qualifiers. After an action-packed qualification round, the 42 best clubs from all over the world are competing in 6 zones. Let's have a look at how the zone finals are set up. Like the qualifiers, the zone finals are split into 6 different zones. Zones have been divided into different groups based on the number of participating clubs in each zone. Clubs have battled it out in a round-robin style competition, which means that every club has competed against one another. This setup continued to knockout stages and now culminates in a zone final with the 2 best clubs. By the end of the FIFAe Club World Cup 2021, the 6 zone winners will be crowned.
Okay, that's a lot of information.
Yes.
Layla. All right, there's a reason. It's because there's a lot of people, as you mentioned, trying to take part. There's a lot of different regions. It is regional now.
Yeah.
So the way to streamline that information, I would say, Zone 4, which we're dealing with right now, is Europe.
Yes.
And basically, it was quite hard to get here.
Yeah, it wasn't easy.
But they've done well.
Yes, they have.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about the pressure a little bit as well, because obviously there's the pressure of all those teams and getting here in the first place. Amazing to anyone who's qualified this far. But also now the pressure is different, because last year we saw them in the studios with us under the bright lights. That's a certain amount of pressure. Now they're at home.
It is different, for sure. I would feel the pressure's still there to an extent, because this is a big stage. Whether you're at home or not is a literal and a metaphorical stage, because this is one of the biggest events of the year.
Yeah.
From a club perspective, I really love it, because it's one of the few events that really puts the club or the organisation first. With that in mind, you know, it's not just a 1v1 every single time. You've got 2 players on each team that have both got to perform for their badge, for their organisation. So there's a bit of pressure because of that. They might not necessarily be playing at home. They might be playing at a headquarters of their eSports organisation. They might have staff of that organisation around them. And of course, there's money on the line, there's kudos. So the pressure's there, it's just a bit different.
And psychologically as well, playing at home, you know, I know the pressure's there, but it's going to be different, the lifestyle and everything, surely.
Well, there's definitely more things to take into consideration. You know, the fact that you are, whether you're at home or your offices or whatever, things like internet connection are going to come into it. They don't normally come into it. Have you got a good one? Is your mum downloading something in the other room?
Could we see little sisters running in and breaking into the broadcast?
Could happen. It could happen.
My gosh.
I think, you know, ideally, a lot of these guys, obviously, are all playing for organisations. Again, they might be at special facilities. They're going to have all the gear they need to perform. So, but you've got to take those things into consideration.
The soap opera begins. Well, someone else who I'd like to hear about, who can give us some more information about their unique zone, is our zone reporter. We're going to chat now to Mateo Ribeiro. Mateo, here he is. How are
Hi, Spencer. I'm Leila. Excited to be virtually here with you.
Thank you. It's good to have you. Can you start by giving us a little bit of an update of the qualifications that led everyone here in Zone 4 to this point?
Sure. As you mentioned, Zone 4 has been one of the most tagged in the whole competition. Now we are watching the best 14 teams, but the process that led them here, so lots of big names missing the qualification. I'm thinking about last year finalists, the Elevens, or also Fnatic, one of the biggest organizations, having in Tex their shining star, also 2 times E-Club winners, Bromby. And also talking about who didn't make it after group stage, we will miss also action from, for example, Manchester City at their 4th qualification in a row for them, but said the near elimination.
Matteo, you're an Italian, of course, and we've got some Italians that are doing very well in this tournament, and this year in general, actually. It's a really strong year for Italy. What are we putting that down to? What's meaning that there's a bit of a growth going on in the FIFA eSports scene in Italy, right?
Yeah, for sure. Italian scene, Italian esports movement, especially in FIFA, has been growing so fast, especially in the last year. We saw from the past 2 days, AC Monza leading both groups with 27 points achieved, and also having in Caccia one of the 2 unbeaten players, and the other one it's Oliboli, a Swedish champions, but he's playing also for another big organization like Mkers.
Are you expecting any surprises out of Zone 4?
Maybe, because also we will witness young talents show their abilities, like Team Gullit versus Schalke, because they are the 2 youngest team in the competition. But I think that we have 4 exciting quarterfinals to live.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, mate. Good work. Zone 4.
Yes, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. So 2 undefeated players in there. I find that quite interesting, but not undefeated teams.
No, and obviously that's where this event is so important. You know, you can't have one team that's being carried by one player. At some point, you're going to come unstuck. He's mentioned there, Matteo, some moments from last year. We've seen teams like Complexity, the North American team, that actually won the event last year when it obviously wasn't in zones. And they had 2 players, and one was Yoxan, who's a well-known American, who was considered the bigger part, shall we say, of that team. But Maxi VIP, his teammate, had to come through at key points, or else they wouldn't have won. Likewise, we've seen other teams where the lesser known or maybe lower ranked player has been the one that actually win the games. And there's tactical choices we'll get onto later that, you know, depending on who you're matching up against, you might have to rely on a different player. You're
the perfect person for me to ask this to, because you manage your team yourself. But how important is it to try and find that balance between the 2 players and make sure one isn't carrying another?
Yeah, I mean, it depends how many players you've got, right?
Yeah.
Some teams have got just the 2 players. Some teams often don't even have 2, and they might have to bring someone in specifically for this event. That's how, you know, highly thought of this event is in the community. But some teams have actually got more than 2, and then they have to choose. And one of the things that was different in qualification this year is you could change up your rota for each game depending on who you wanted to use. So, yeah, we're seeing all these new additions come in every year. It's getting more sophisticated, but this is why, as I've mentioned, it's one of my favourite events, because you've got to have a strong squad. It's not about just who your best player is.
Yeah, let's take a walk with me, because I want to have a little look now at how those group tables finished. It's interesting to me, not only the teams that made it, but, of course, some of the surprises and the teams that didn't.
Exactly. I mean, Matteo's talked about Monza there, and I'm not surprised. This is a huge story, OK? I have to hold my hands up and say I probably haven't taken these guys seriously enough.
Oh, OK.
Yeah, they didn't have the biggest name in FIFA eSports before this year. They're a Serie B, second-tier Italian football team, but that doesn't matter in FIFA eSports. They're top of their group, and they're top-seeded, really, going into this next phase of games. Because if you look at it, so they're top. Yep. They'll play 4th place in Group B, which is RB Leipzig, obviously a very well-known Bundesliga side. Now, where this is interesting is if you look at Group B, it's a lot tighter than Group A was. So the amount of points between 1st and 4th is just 2. Okay. Wow. In fact, RB Leipzig actually had the 2nd best goal difference, the joint most goals scored. So the fact they're 4th going up against Mkers, I wouldn't read too much into that in regards to who's the favourite, because I think it could be a good game. On the inverse side of that, in 4th place in the first group, you've got Schalke, who Matteo mentioned, a young team, promising team, also a real-life traditional German football team in this case. They actually had a -6 goal difference, the worst goal difference of any team to get out of the group. They've got their work cut out for them, obviously, going up against Team Hullet, who are, by the way, having an amazing year.
Some surprises in the people who aren't here. Man City.
Yeah, City have been synonymous with this event for a number of years now. They didn't make it. I mean, they made it further than other teams, though. You mentioned Brøndby, who've won the event previously a couple of times. Didn't make it this far. The British, I have to say, as a UK person, we're not doing great.
Yeah.
You know, Man City were our chance of having an English club win. They're gone. There's one Brit left, which is Crafty, who's playing for the Italian team, Genoa. So I don't know if that counts as a UK win, if they win or not, but I'll take it.
So some big changes, anything can happen. Let's break it down a little bit closer then, because it would be really nice to talk through the quarter-finals. Let's start with quarter-final 1. This is the one that's looking like it could be a big game today.
I really do think this is going to be a great game. Okay, so let's look a bit in more detail. So we know about Monza, as we mentioned.
Yes.
And I love the fact that this tournament gives you the chance to kind of reset the football status quo.
Oh, OK.
Because if this was a match in the European competition...
in real life.
It would be fairly easy to predict who might win it, OK? Monza aren't quite at the level of, Champions League semi-finalists last year, RB Leipzig. However, in FIFA, Monza have won their group. They're coming out favourites, top seed, going up against Leipzig. This is a really interesting year for Leipzig as well, as a team. They've got some really promising players, some of which aren't even here as well. They've got a youngster who's going to come through the ranks in a matter of time, who's looking deadly. But the guys that are here are doing very well as well. You don't get here by accident. What's really interesting about this matchup we'll get onto later is team selection.
Yes.
When you get out of the group stage, you obviously play one game on each console, but if it's equal, you need to have a third match decider. So what console you choose to go into that first game in is actually really important, because that's the console you're using the decider. So essentially one player could play twice.
Right.
And there's lots of different things you've got to think about. But all you need to know right now is if you're the highest seeded team going into these quarterfinals, you get to choose. And that's going to come into this match for sure.
We might talk about them more later, because this is our featured match as well. But now let's move on to quarter-final 2.
Yes, so this is a really interesting game, OK? I mentioned Team Hullet earlier. This is their breakout season for me. I mean, they're not new, they've been around for a while, and I've got a lot of time for them. Absolute talent factory, OK?
Right.
They are producing players at an unbelievable rate. They are a team that have multiple players, more than 2. These 2 guys that are playing for them here, we've got RVP Legend, who's one of the higher-ranked players on the Global Series leaderboard right now, 11th on the Xbox.
Nice.
He is Romanian. They also have a Danish player. A lot of their other players are Dutch. Obviously, it's a Dutch team, named and run by the man himself, Ruud Gullit. Massive player, massive icon in FIFA. I love that this is obviously not a traditional football team, but an organisation that's synonymous with FIFA, going up against a traditional football team in Schalke. Young players, Yuli and JH7. It's going to be harder for them, based on their group stage. -6 goal difference, we talked about it. 9 points behind them and top-placed Monza. There was a gap. They need to bridge that gap if they're going to get through.
Let's take a look at quarter-final 3.
Yes, next match-up, we've got Mkers, who, for me, on paper, the favourites, OK?
Right.
They haven't necessarily shown that all throughout the process so far, but, again, they've made it this far. They've done enough to give them a chance of winning. Principe, Italian player, again, Italy having an unbelievable season. He's won plenty of majors in the past. He's got experience at this highest level. Teamed up with the Swedish player, Ollie Bolli. Sweden,
undefeated.
Yeah, I mean, undefeated, and that's not by accident. He's won a regional this year already. Ollie Bolli is coming out of Sweden, which is one of the strongest individual nations right now. On paper, this team is hard to beat. You've got Ollie Bolli, also third on the Global Series leaderboard right now on Xbox, and he's the highest-ranked player of anyone we've got in Zone 4 on the leaderboard right now. So Mkers look good. Going up against Zeta. Coming out, obviously, of Zone 4, which we know well, but also a division I know a little bit better because it was the one that #United were in.
Yes.
We didn't make it out.
How long has it taken you to mention #United?
It's a shame that Matteo didn't mention it. There's big teams that didn't make it. I have to have a word with him. But no, Zeta have done really well to get this far. Again, maybe like the likes of Monza, not been taken seriously enough, at least by me, and we have to start doing that now. But against Mkers, if they make it through, then they become really serious contenders because they're up against one of the favourite teams. You've got Ditmir and you've got Daniel Aguilar as their 2 players there.
It's going to be another amazing game. And finally, quarter-final 4.
Yes, OK, so this one, another Italian football club.
Yes, surprise. They've been doing very well.
It's not just Italian teams, it's Italian football clubs specifically. This is a Serie A team, of course, top-level Italian team. They've got that UK player I mentioned about in Crafty. They've also got Gabri as their 2nd player. Going up against Astralis. This is a traditional eSports organisation. OK, one of the biggest eSports orgs out there. They've come into FIFA and they've come in with a bang. They've got 2 fantastic Danish players. Aga, if you know anything about FIFA eSports, you know Aga, 2-time world champion, top player. Maybe not in his top form right now. And he actually referenced that on Twitter recently. I think we can bring the tweet in.
He did, yeah.
Because it's not just about him, it's also about his teammate Uston.
Yeah.
And he sort of compared, quite funnily, himself and his form to John O'Shea, whilst his teammate Uston, Wayne Rooney. He's saying there's a big difference. I mean, we're talking about teams having to be, both important. This is going to be interesting. But that's Aga also being very humble, I think.
I was going to say, yeah, that's dampening the ego a little bit there.
Yeah.
I want to pull you back to quarterfinal 1, because that's our feature game today.
Yes.
And you tempted and teased a little bit about how the tactics could be very important.
So this is really interesting because this first game is going to be an Xbox. Okay, that was Monza's decision.
Yeah.
They won their group. They're the top seed. They decide. On form, so their Xbox player is Enzarello, man on the screen right here. He's going up against Gaucho, the Xbox player for RB Leipzig. On form, Kachia, his teammate at Monza, is doing better. Undefeated, as Matteo mentioned. So why would they not choose that undefeated player to be on the console, to play first, so that he has a chance of playing twice? The reason is it's about who Kachia is going to go up against.
Right.
He's going up against Umut, who are on Leipzig on the PlayStation. So that is going to be a really good match, because Umut is also one of the highest performing players here. So they thought tactically, no disrespect to Enzarello, obviously a top player, because he wouldn't be here if he wasn't. They've gone with him first because they feel like if they have a repeat matchup of Enzarello versus Gaucho, that gives them maybe a better chance than a repeat matchup of Kachia versus Umut.
An interesting choice of tactics. We'll see very soon whether or not that will pay off.
Yeah.
May I nudge you for a prediction?
You may. I was expecting that, and I've made the mistake of not taking Monza seriously too much throughout this process, which has been going on for months. I'm not doing it anymore, so I'm going with Monza.
Ooh, very brave move. Well, we start now with our feature match. I'm going to throw you over to our commentary team, Mark Hatcher and Dan Gaskin. Enjoy.
Thank you so much, Layla. It is time for us to finally get the action underway, Dan. We've been waiting so long to finally be sat kind of near to each other before we can actually get into some games and cast some FIFA once more. But the first game that we're going to have, we're into the quarterfinals here of zone number 4. And as I say, the first game is going to be Monza taking on RB Leipzig. Tell me about this game. Tell me about your thoughts.
I mean, this is two teams who really could go a long way in this competition. No reason why they can't go on to actually win this zone with the form they've been in, with the results they've been able to pull out. De Gaucho, for example, a player we've seen previously in the E-Club World Cup, has had great results in live performances, but slightly different. We're at home now. The players are playing from home. Some people will be more comfortable with that. Some people will be less comfortable with that. And all these things, they're going to be taken into consideration. It's all about who can kind of just stay calm and avoid those real worries. And it's about playing for your teammate. Like, the fact that you have someone else's games on the back of your shoulders, that responsibility, it's tough.
Yeah, I'd certainly want to be the second player going, to be honest with you. Or maybe the first one. You know, it doesn't matter. You can put the blame on your teammate if he doesn't manage to pull it back or whatever it is. But that's one of the things that I personally, and I think everybody, loves about the FIFA E-Club World Cup is that team element, right? You have your teammate alongside you who you're going to share the highs with. You're going to share the lows with as well. And I think a huge congratulations has to go out to every single team that has made it to this stage. It has been a grueling process for everybody, every player, every team that's been involved. But first of all, we're going to focus on the game you can see in front of you, the first quarterfinal of the day. And the first game, I believe, Dan, is going to be Enzarello taking on Gaucho.
Yeah, and Enzarello is a player that definitely can take down Gaucho with the form he's been in. Some of the wins that he's picked up have been incredible, beating players like Zidane. He got a draw against Aga, which was a tough one for him, but it was a 1-1 draw. His only loss coming up against Oli Bolli, and Oli Bolli has been in such good form, so I don't think he'll be too disappointed about that. If he can find the form that he had when he played against Zidane, I really think he can take this one.
Well, good news is we're getting straight into the game. The action is finally underway here, and we're trying to get straight into our first quarterfinal for Zone 4. Of course, we've got so much action to bring you over the next 3 days in the FIFA E-Club World Cup, and the perfect place to start. You know, we've got seeing some of the teams and the names that are more established in the scenes, like of Umut, who really had a breakout year last year. He's back and he's unbeaten here for RB Leipzig as well. And then you've got AC Monza, two names that, to be honest with you, I'm not half as aware as some of the other names that are currently in the competitive FIFA scene, but it has been a year where newcomers have been coming through, Dan.
Yeah, 27 points for Monza in the group stages to get to this knockout point, plus 17 with their goal difference. We saw 13 points from Enzarello, 14 of those points came from Cacho. So quite evenly spread. When we were hearing Spencer and Layla talking at the start of the show about is there one player who's kind of carrying the other, is there someone who's letting the side down, hasn't really happened for Monza. Both of them have just been in great form, some fantastic results. I'm seeing draws versus Principe, I'm seeing a victory versus Houston for Cacho as well, so on the PlayStation, very strong. When we go over to RB Leipzig, Gaucho with some fantastic results as well. Man City Ryan, he beat him 4-0. That is an amazing result for him. But he has been struggling a little bit. He's only been able to get 8 points compared to the 12 points that we saw from Uma.
Yeah, it's been a phenomenal, performance from all of the players that you've mentioned there. And as I say, and it's something that's going to be a kind of a theme as we get through the weekend as well. Every single team that has made it to this stage should take some pride in that. But there's one thing getting to the dance, Dan. It's one being able to tap your way through to that final and put that trophy on your shelves once you get the opportunity to do so. But as we wait to get into this game, you see the players just loading in now. We've also got Genoa eSports versus Astralis going on. We've got Team Hullet taking on Schalke, Mkers taking on Zeta. There's so many huge games to kick off the action today in our first quarterfinal, the first segment of the FIFAe Club World Cup. If you're not excited, then I don't know what to say at this point.
Yeah, we need to get this one started because the FIFAe Club World Cup is one of my favourite competitions. The passion that we've seen in the live studios, and to be fair, some of the clips that I've seen on social media of people celebrating in their own homes as well, you kind of get that same feeling. It's not quite the same energy, but it is starting to get there. And you can see the teams that they're playing on, they are going to be playing on eSports accounts, so they're going to have all of the players available to them. So that's where you're seeing some of the best icons, some of the best players that are available in the game.
Yeah, interesting thing for me, looking across some of those attackers, you've got the likes of Eusebio, you've got a Team of the Year, Cristiano Ronaldo, who is an absolute animal. And it looks like we're about to get underway now, the first kickoff of the day. We're going to be watching a lot of FIFA eSports across the next 3 days of action. But Dan, and everybody watching at home, the FIFAe Club World Cup finals are finally underway.
And there's going to be a lot of different formations that you're going to be seeing today, but we have had goals elsewhere. We know, of course, don't just have this game in the quarterfinals. We've got many goals going on and many games going on elsewhere, should I say. So there has been a goal, and we will get you updates when that comes in. I believe Astralis have been able to get an opener against Genoa eSports. But Monza versus RB Leipzig here. Already seeing 5 at the back here for Monza eSports, and that is a formation that's created a little bit of controversy in the scene, Mark.
There's created controversy in my weekend leagues for sure, but that's a different standard altogether. But it is a very effective and meta formation that we will be seeing a lot of from all of the pros, from all of the teams, especially when they're looking to hold on to those leads. But speaking of creating a lead, it's Monza eSports now stepping forward as Enzarello goes out wide here. Alexander Arnold will make a great tackle though. Fullback who links up perfectly with Virgil van Dijk in that centre-back position as well. Both Team of the Year foot items, and now on the counter-attack we have RB Leipzig stepping forward. Pele goes back to Bruno Fernandes. Here is Eusebio. Fernandes again looking to pull those strings. As Cristiano Ronaldo just drops in a little bit deeper. There's that ball in behind, but Virgil van Dijk managed to make the interception.
You saw how quick Gaucho wanted to attack there, trying to get him on the counter-attack and push as quick as possible, but then instantly was just bombarded by red shirts. It was the 5 at the back that was able to come through. A chance maybe here for Pele, and he will strike it, and that's the opening goal for Monza eSports. And that is going to be the same form that we've seen from Enzarello throughout the group stage.
Yeah, beautiful little touch on the through ball as well. Finds the Brazilian icon in space. A simple finish down at that near post. And our first goal we're seeing here on the broadcast will go to Monza eSports. That form is just continuing here, Dan.
It is indeed, and it was again on a little bit of a counter-attack after Gaucho was pushing forward and looking to try and break through the 5. And now we're seeing yet again that through ball and how crucial it can be when you just press that triangle button or that Y button, depending on the console, at the right time. The defenders just can't quite latch onto the striker.
It's not just that, you're not sure sometimes where the routing of the pass is actually going to go. It sometimes doesn't go in the way that you think is obvious to defend. It kind of plays it inside or outside of the defender in the passing lane that you're looking to cut. Even if you manage to switch manually to them and put yourself in what you believe is a fairly decent position. And it's been the difference so far as far as scoreline is concerned. But finally, it's going to be a little bit of possession here for RB Leipzig as Alphonso Davies will pick this ball up and go back inside to Ruud Gullit.
Astralis have gone 2 goals up against Genoa eSports, so already seeing An incredible lead from them. We'll see those goals at halftime just to make sure you see all the goals that are going in here at the FIFA E-Club World Cup. But in this particular game, you can see it slowed down a little bit. Mark Gaucho just trying to bide his time up the pitch. He's struggling a little bit against the 5 at the back, not being able to generate too much space against the sheer width that we're seeing from Monza eSports.
It's got to be patient, wait for those openings, wait for a mistake, a little player switch that doesn't quite fulfill the expectations maybe of the defending player. And there is that little ball inside. Here's Cristiano Ronaldo, goes flat, reverse elastico, but well watched there. And now an opportunity to counter-attack at pace, but not surprising to see Monza eSports just slowing this down and taking their time in attack here down with that goal lead.
Well, they're just waiting for this. They're waiting for the fullbacks, the wingbacks to join. This is why the 5 at the back formation is so strong, because the likes of Trent Alexander-Arnold, they get up the pitch, they have great crossing statistics, even good shooting statistics.
Alexander-Arnold gets the ball inside now. Ruud Gullit tries to pull the ball back. Alphonso Davies will win the header initially, but it will fall here to a Monza eSports player. Cristiano Ronaldo gets that ball inside again to Gullit. Shifts it, gets it back inside once more. Good block from the defender, though.
Yeah, great block. Just trying to look for that extra pass, trying to up those percentages to ensure that they don't fall victim to a bit of goalkeeper movement or a block from one of those defenders. But in the end, it was good awareness from Gaucho. Now he'll look to see if he can counter-attack himself here. But again, it's just a wall of red every time he goes forward, and he can pass it across the pitch as much as he likes. Those red shirts are shifting from left to right, making it very difficult. He's going to need some sort of through ball, I feel, to get past this defence.
Well, here's Gullit, and there's a ball into the feet of Pele. Once again, using that good left dribbling to try and stay away from the attention of the centre-back. But at the moment, to be honest with you, Monza eSports completely and utterly in control. As that through ball is played once more, hasn't been anything to write home about for RB Leipzig moving forward. You can see on the left-hand side as well the performances of Zarello through the group stages as well. No surprise to see him 1-0 up at this point.
And on the other side, we can have a look at Gaucho's statistics as well. And I did mention them a little bit earlier. Only 8 points he's been able to secure, but some of the results that he was able to pull up. Again, a 4-0 victory over Ryan. He beat Painter 2-1. He did lose, however, to Crafty and RVP. 2 very close games, though. And you can see in the goal difference, like, he has been able to score the goals, but maybe conceded more than he would have expected. And in this particular game, Mark, honestly, I feel like maybe he should be going to the 5-back as well. It's one of the best ways to counter a 5-back is with a 5-back, or you need to completely overwhelm them with just so many players flooding forward from the midfield.
Here's Eusebio looking for that ball inside, but the long legs of Patrick Vieira will clean up that potential mess before it gets it out of hand in any kind of way. Just a few moments here until half-time as well, and a good start here for Monza eSports, pretty much the perfect 45. To be honest with you, the one real chance that's been created was put away and managed to really limit not only chances here for RB Leipzig, but opportunities to get into that final third. It's been snuffed out before any dangers kind of appeared, but saying that, half-time still not been called here by the referee, which means they've got to be careful once more, and it looks like Monza eSports will do that as we see half-time now.
Well, we'll take a look at some of the goals that have gone in elsewhere then. Astralis versus Genoa eSports in their opener. It's a nice little through ball and on the half volley to tuck the first away. And then the second, again, it's Astralis going 2-0 up. Back post header, not something you see as often in FIFA 21 as we did FIFA 20.
And here is a Mkers versus Zeta game, and you can see the lead here for Mkers as well. Going to be Cristiano Ronaldo once again on the score sheet. A simple strike across goal, so great to see. Mkers once again keeping their form up, and for me, certainly one of the favourites in this zone to move forward and become the champion. But back to our featured game now, and it is 1-0 to Monza eSports if you are just joining us. Great start here for Enzarello. But for Gaucho, some questions to be asked, because he didn't really show any signs of attacking intent or flair or anything creative in that final third.
I think creativity and flair, I think that is definitely the right words to use. He wants to attack, but unfortunately he's coming up against too many players in his way, and he doesn't seem to have anything in the back pocket. I'm not seeing many skill moves. I'm not seeing many attempts to try and actually beat the man. Instead, he's trying to play a passing game, and he's going to lose that game just because of formations right now. So he needs to either up the pace with these passes, go for something a little bit different, or we need to see more skill moves.
Maybe a little change in formation, maybe 4-3-2-1. Maybe 3 at the back as well is a good formation. A counter, force those fullbacks to defend, have those overlapping players out wide. Certainly options that all of these players are going to be aware of. You've got to be aware here. You need to keep this game as close as possible before thinking about a comeback, because last thing you've got to do is let another goal hit the back of the net and find yourself down by 2.
You can see Schalke have just taken the lead against Team Hullet as well. Team Hullet, who looked so strong throughout the group stages, going down in the first game. But of course, there are several legs. It's not all about the first result, but you can set yourself up for success. And particularly in this game, as the Xbox is going to be playing twice if we go all the way to 3 games.
Here's Cristiano Ronaldo twisting and turning. Pele doing the same. Waiting for that run. There's a little bit of space here. Bruno Fernandes, maybe opportunity to strike it. One of those finesse shots from range, and I don't mind that too much. Been limited in chances going forward. RB Leipzig, and a chance to strike a goal. Sometimes you've got to take that opportunity.
And there is going to be potential for so many mind games if these two do end up repeating this game in the 3rd fixture, if we get there. Of course, if we see a team actually win games 1 and 2, win those legs, then they will just go through to the next stage. You don't have to worry about it. But having that repeat possibility is dangerous.
Great ball though. Ruud Gullit's inside, little heel to heel, and Maldini gets a foot in, but the referee has decided not only to point to the spot, but send Paolo Maldini on his way. And I've got to be honest with you, Dan. Oh, I thought he won the ball, but it looked like he didn't.
Didn't win the ball. It's still a tough red, but what happens, happens, and this is going to be a long road.
Ronaldo then looks like he might be the player to step up. No, it's given over to Pele. Chance to double the lead here. Pele slots it away straight into the side netting. Monza eSports take a 2-goal lead.
Yeah, this is going to be a long old road back for Gaucho here. And you can see his facial expressions, the body language. That is not the kind of thing you want to see. It's already difficult enough when the penalty is given against you, when you feel like maybe you've not done much. It was just a tiny little touch. The replay in slow motion, of course, yes, it's a penalty. But I've seen yellow cards given now. I've seen no cards given there previously. So the red is just salt in the wounds.
We're jumping over to watch Team Hullet versus Schalke here, and for this reason, it looks like Schalke have taken the lead. This was the goal that you were mentioning a little bit earlier, Dan, and there's other goals going on from around the grounds as well.
Yeah, Mkers versus Zeta Gaming. Zeta Gaming getting an equaliser there against Mkers, so we are seeing plenty of goals flying in, but mainly for Astralis, it's all going in their direction.
Yeah, Astralis looking absolutely unbelievable in this first game. 3 to the good in that one. That game is almost done and dusted, although saying that with FIFA 21, we do know some crazy comebacks are possible at the highest level. But back to this game, and for RB Leipzig, one of the tournament favourites, I think, for many people coming into it with the calibre of player that they do have. Unfortunately for Gaucho, things just really not gone their way. Just hasn't got going so far in this game.
I think the saving grace for Gaucho is, of course, the scoreline doesn't necessarily matter in this point. It's just about getting that victory or taking this to a further stage, getting that equaliser and trying to get back into the game. I have seen it done with 10 men. It's not the most difficult. It's not as detrimental as you might think. However, it is, of course, going to be a little bit more tricky than if you have had 11 men on the pitch.
So for RB Leipzig, the uphill battle continues here. It was difficult enough, 11 versus 11. However, 10 versus 11, well, mathematically, as we all know, that means there's one less pass available to one player who might be in space. It'll be interesting to see how the formation might have changed, and it looks like a 4-4-2. And one of those wide attacking players might have been sacrificed, shall we say, to keep those players up top, to give them the opportunity to get back into the game.
And I guess it makes sense. I mean, those wide players have just been run ragged by those wing-backs anyway, so just trying to generate a little bit more space through the middle and hoping he can get those 1-2s and get a through ball that finally makes its way towards his opposition goal. But it hasn't really happened, and now this is the danger. So much space out here.
Alexander-Arnold approaching that 18-yard box, waits once more. Here's Pele, a little bit of room for him. There's the Elastico, step over and a finish. It's a beautiful goal from Monza eSports. 3 to the good now. And you have to say, for RB Leipzig and Gaucho, that means pressure onto his teammate.
It was one of those that any skill move that kind of shifted the ball onto his left foot was probably going to find success. The teammate that actually ran across his path almost helped, because it seemed to block the defender as well, but selling him fantastically with the Elastico there. 3-0, despite the fact that Monza eSports here have had less possession. Enzarello has just been on the back foot in terms of not having the ball, but the counter-attacks have been great. He's bided his time. We haven't seen too much.
Almost got to that one, though. Schmeichel had to be quick off his line, and he was, but Alphonso Davies keeps the pressure on. That's a loose pass, though. Maybe a little bit forced, but at this point, everything has to be forced here for RB Leipzig to try and scrape something away. A draw would be as good as a win, to be honest. I think Gaucho would bite your hand off for that at this point. 3-0 down with only 15 minutes to go. However, maybe just something to lift the mood in the camp, to give your teammate a little bit of a smile, something just to keep the vibes high and take the pressure off of Umut moving forward. Maldini, though, great interception. You have to say Monza eSports and Enzarello, defensively, have been absolutely superb down.
Yeah, and when I'm looking at the results from Gaucho and the players he's played, and he's been able to find goals against players who maybe are a little bit more attacking. However, he's struggled against these players who do play five at the back.
Alexander-Arnold drives it across goal, and he will finally find a goal. The pause will come in almost immediately as well. But you never know. You find that goal with a little bit of time left. Maybe there is time for 2 more attacks here for RB Leipzig to get back into this game. And speaking of goals, there's more flying in from other games here, Dan.
Yeah, Astralis, after taking a 3-0 lead, will concede 1. I wonder whether it's just going to be too late. 20 minutes left in that game. So, I mean, somewhat similar to this. There is a little bit of time to work with, but it's not the most.
So a few changes coming in here, and it's going to be on the side of Monza eSports. So we're going to see these changes come in. You can see that 96, Zidane, going to be brought on just to maybe shore up that midfield a little bit. Hullet, Vieira and Zidane. I think any manager in football in history would bite your hand off to have those 3 players at their disposal. But back underway here, and maybe just a little chink of light here for RB Leipzig. Win this ball back high up the pitch. Turn that into a goal. Makes for a nervy few minutes here for Monza eSports.
Yeah, despite the fact that possession hasn't really been there, the game could be over right here, right now. Great save from Schmeichel.
Great save from the Dane. As Mbappe now looks to thread that through, but good strength there from Carlos Alberto to hold off the run in behind. Van Dijk sends that one across. That was more of a miscued golf shot by the looks of it, the way that ball span away. Cristiano Ronaldo will win that header. Zidane will send that one out of play, but it will be a Monza eSports ball here, and that's just more seconds off the clock.
Yeah, just needs to eat away at the time. Hasn't really focused on possession throughout the early stages of this game, but now you just need that time management. If the ball goes out of play, great. You can hold on to it with a throw-in if needs be. Go down the wings, hold the ball if you have to. And he has a 2-goal advantage, so you can look for that extra pass if it's presented at the right time.
Mbappe gets a interception away there. Here's Zinedine Zidane. He's fresh on the pitch as well. Flicks that ball up, looks for the volley. Very Zidane-like. One Frenchman, though, will not put his opportunity away. The other one was looking to pick up the pieces there, Mbappe. But unfortunately for RB Leipzig, this means they will go 1 down in their tie here in the quarterfinals. Van Dijk will make the interception at this point. Any goals are kind of meaningless as we know what the result will be. There isn't enough time here for RB Leipzig to get back into this game. And as we're past that 90th minute spot, maybe there is an opportunity right at the end here to, like I mentioned, get the vibes back up, but unfortunately it won't be taken. Monza eSports and Enzarello pick up their first win.
Yeah, Monza, who carry on their form from the group stages. They won their group at 27 points, and Enzarello will be more than happy with that, whereas Leipzig, well, they're at a disadvantage going into that leg 2. Elsewhere, Mkers versus Zeta Gaming. We're into extra time. And that is something that we knew could happen. There has to be a result in all of the legs. It can't be a draw. And neither team, neither player, able to get advantage over the other.
Well, here come Mkers stepping forward there now. Alphonso Davies, no surprise to see him in at full-back. For pretty much everyone, you would imagine what a foot item that is, and what a year it's been for the Canadian as well. For now, Mkers taking their time, stepping forward. Here's Bruno Fernandes. Sabio will just feed that one back to Carlos Alberto. Looking for that ball inside. Once again, you can see the 5-at-the-back formation here for Zeta Gaming. Played out wide now. Ronaldinho back inside here to Hullet. Maybe a chance in extra time. Big block coming in, though, as Ronaldo was looking to let loose right at the end of the first half here of extra time. Maybe an opportunity, though, from the corner here.
And corners can be dangerous. Fires it toward the back post. Keeper moved out. And you can hoof this one, and that should be it. But hold on, that's a little bit of a mistake from Maldini.
Mbappe will keep it in, and it will go out for another corner now. There's Mbappe battles for Mkers. Will this one be whipped in? Yes, it will. You can see once again the goalkeeper having to make a decisive decision there, as the goalkeeper was moved there by the player out, and it looks like no goals to separate the two teams once again.
Yeah, 15 minutes left in extra time before a penalty shootout comes into the equation. Mkers, of course, the team that features both Principe and Oli Bolli, two players who have been in incredible form throughout this tournament. And Zeta Gaming, Dietmar and Daniel Aguilar. I mean, it's similar stories in terms of how both of these teams approached their group stage. They had some okay results. They had some results that they probably should have been able to pick up goals. But in the end, they qualified for the knockouts, and that's what everyone's target was. It didn't matter if you finished first, second, third, or fourth. As long as you got there, you feel like you have a chance once you get to those knockouts.
Yeah, you didn't care how you got there. As long as you got there. We've talked about how much of a fire pit it was to get through that qualification process. But to get to this stage, everyone has been consistent. Has been putting in the performances that matter. Been lucky enough to put together a few recaps over every single week of action. It seems like every team has been playing at a different level and finding ways to win and getting through that qualification process. But it's one thing to get here. It's another to go another stage further. So second half of extra time underway here.
And this is always the nervy stage as well, where you're thinking, how are my penalties? Do I want this to go to a penalty shootout? Should I be holding on to the ball and just trying to restrict my opponent's chances, or do I go for the win? You're really going to see the kind of in-game personalities develop in scenarios like this.
Oh, scoop turn from Cristiano Ronaldo. Lovely little directional nutmeg out of the feet as well to get half a yard. I'm going to give you the goal updates from this game as well before we head back to our featured game as well between AC Monza and RB Leipzig. Bukayo Saka, future star, involved as well as an Arsenal fan, Dan. You know that I love to see that.
Yeah, how about that for a super sub? Of course, some of these items that are added, it's just a pace injection, which is important at this stage of the game when the stamina is low on some of those defenders. You just want anyone who can just burst into those areas, maybe play a little whipped cross, low-driven cross that can be so detrimental to the opposition's defence, or even someone who can get in behind and then dink one over the keeper.
Ball into the feet of Kylian Mbappe, then Mkers looking dangerous. 115 minutes on the clock, 5 more minutes of regulation time before we head to our first penalty shootout of the tournament. Ball around the corner though, Ronaldinho went for the first time fake shot. That just gave the defender enough time to get back and make that tackle. A nervy moment though.
Very nervy moment indeed. And this is what I mean by when that clock does start ticking down. Zeta Gaming have that option now to just hold on to the ball and say, okay, well, we can have, or I can have the last attack of the game. And either I score in this attack or we're going to a penalty shootout, and I will take that 50-50.
Zeta Gaming stepping forward then. This will be the last chance, you would imagine, of the game before we do head to the penalty spot to decide who will take home the win in this game. You're not quarter-final. Bruno Fernandes. Maybe looking to find that ball into the feet of Cristiano Ronaldo. Here he is. Directional nutmeg. Big save, though, from Petr Cech in goal. And a massive opportunity to win it right at the death. First penalty, though, will be taken here by Ronaldinho. He steps up and he puts it straight down the middle. No sign of the nerves. And have to tie it up here for Zeta Gaming. Goes, oh, and manages to just slide it under the goalkeeper's hands.
Penalty's so difficult as well in competitive settings. You don't get that circle to work with, so you have to do it with muscle memory. And there's a little dink again.
2 in a row.
Just through the middle. Absolute mind games at the moment. Can we see another equaliser as Pele will step up? Right foot shot goes right again. 2-2.
100% record for the players so far then. Question is, will it be 3 Panenkas in a row? Kylian Mbappe this time puts it side netting. A great penalty coming in from Mbappe. And now Bukayo Saka stepping up. He goes down the middle and we have a miss.
And of course it would be Saka after what we said earlier, but Hullet now to take a big lead. It's gone left. Keeper goes the right way. There wasn't enough.
Mbappe versus Cech. The Frenchman steps up and a big save. means that the game is done and dusted. And it will be Zeta Gaming who take home the win.
A poor penalty, really. A couple of penalties in there, just a little bit off. But we will go back to our feature game after we got a nice little penalty shootout to touch things off. But Monza eSports versus RB Leipzig now. As we go into our second leg, we've got our new faces on the camera. Caccio versus Uma, our PlayStation players now. Two players who, again, have just been picking up points after points in the group stages. Uma currently undefeated.
And almost found a ball through there, Monza eSports, right at the start of this game. And I'm pretty sure I'm not mistaken in saying both of these players are undefeated so far. And with the amount of games that have been played and the caliber of players that everyone has had to go up against, that is a heck of a statement to make. Here's the ball through, and there's a chance. But it's going to be Peter Schmeichel, who is equal to that shot, as it was fired in from the left foot of Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, Calcio's picked up 14 points in the group stage, whereas Uma just 12, but both of them yet to take a loss. Someone has to lose, though, in this leg. And, of course, Monza eSports with the advantage. RB Leipzig have to get a victory here. If they lose, whether it be in 90 minutes or on penalties, Monza eSports going through to the semi-finals.
Oh, beautiful little cricket cancel to find just a half-yard of space, and then the attempted directional nutmeg as well. Coming in there from Uma. For Caccio, now he goes on the counter-attack on this near side with Pele. Brazilian will go back inside. Bruno Fernandes will keep his run going, trying to pull away the defender, but Uma does a fantastic job of making that decision in that split-second moment not to pull the defender away.
There are the statistics there in the bottom left-hand side of your screen as well. The amount of goals that Uma has been scoring is what really impresses me. A player in FIFA 20 who a lot of people said was just a defensive kind of player.
Chance though, as he tries to slide that ball through. Once again, just slightly overhit that through ball. A couple of opportunities here for Monza eSports. Just got a bit in behind Uma, which is something, like you were just saying there, Dan, so difficult to do.
And we have seen players adjust their play styles ever so slightly. And you have to with new iterations of FIFA and with new metas that come into the fray. We've seen defensive players turn into attacking players. We've seen attacking players turn into defensive players. And, of course, those who just mould their game for an all-round experience. In the early stages of this one, there have been a couple of chances from those through balls. And I feel like that's where we have to see RB Leipzig just be a little bit careful about which runs they're making.
Chance then for Monza eSports, goes for that double tap pass to try and bypass the outstretched legs of the defenders. Unfortunately, doesn't make it through for Caccio. Now RB Leipzig once again will have possession of the ball. Patience in build-up here from Movement. He gets that ball to his opposition's half. Unfortunately, though, Monza eSports, Caccio read that one like a book. Step forward once more. As I say that, a lot of fighting going down in the centre circle at the moment for possession. RB's Leipzig now. Maybe they can make something going forward here.
Yeah, good aggression from Monza eSports with the defence, stepping up at those right times. Again, just trying to win that ball back, but you do leave yourself vulnerable here if you miss that tackle.
Player switching frantically. Oh, and maybe just overplayed slightly. There was an opportunity, and then straight up the other end. This is what can happen in FIFA eSports. You don't take your chance, and you can concede almost immediately with one of those through balls here on FIFA 21. But I'd say both players been a little bit lucky, but for Uma, he's going to be looking back on that chance. You don't get many better than that.
It's one of those where I don't think he was really expecting to get in front of the keeper there, and he'd already probably pressed to fake shot, and then he suddenly holds down a trigger, and you get that skill move that followed. And it had a chance maybe to actually still confuse the keeper a little bit, but it wasn't enough. And then, oh, you saw the chance at the other end that happened afterwards.
Shot from range. Doesn't beat the goalkeeper though, but Umit showing he's got lots of tricks up his sleeve here. Maybe just trying to set him up for something a little bit different from this attack. And Monza eSports giving the ball away and giving possession back over quite easily.
the last 2 times that they've had hold of the ball. And for Katia, when you're playing against a player of the level of Umut, you can't afford to gift him possession, because this is what can happen. He finally manages to take the lead here. Cristiano Ronaldo into that near post.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of those this weekend. The directional nutmeg just bridging around the opponent. We did see a change in the actual bridge, but the directional nutmeg has been a very successful replacement for it that the pro players have been able to find. Just generates so much space, and then when CR7 is in a spot like that, it's just an easy finish.
So for Monza eSports then looking to answer back straight away. Strike at the near post. Schmeichel down to it. But a corner here and a good response. Having just conceded. Ball whipped in towards that near post. Defending will be done though successfully. And good patience on the ball inside the box there from Umut. That looks a little bit nervy for me.
And that's the difference between going near post and going far post in those scenarios. He kind of did the same thing with that directional nutmeg around the player. Yes, okay, it wasn't as clean cut of a chance, but if he had gone across goal, still the ability to beat the keeper. Although it does depend, of course, on that goalkeeper movement, where you want to try and predict it, where you want to position them.
The half-time whistle will go then. And you can see the lead here for RB Leipzig in this game. We'll take a look, though, at how everything is going down in the quarterfinals here in zone number 4, though. We can see our feature game, the scores. AC Monza taking that first leg at 3-1. They're currently a 1-goal lead for RB Leipzig in this second leg. Genoa eSports, unfortunately, fell 3-2 in their first game, but answering back likewise in the second.
Yeah, Schalke winning 1-0 in their first game, but 0-0 at the moment. And sorry, just a little correction from earlier. It was Mkers who won that penalty shootout 4-2 in the end. So they will go into the PlayStation game, hoping to try and pick up that game too and be able to progress to the semi-finals.
Do have some of the goals from the Astralis game a little bit earlier as well to keep you up to date with everything that is happening. You see that ball whipped in towards the far post from the corner, and hey, who would have thought it? Far post, I'm in flashbacks here, and it's Cristiano Ronaldo with the header.
I have seen a lot of players attempt different styles of corners as of late. It was very much front post to begin with, but then of course ever since the ability to move that goalkeeper out, it's very difficult to get that near post header, so we see it move now to the back post instead.
We're back to our live game then. Monza eSports with possession from the restart, and massive chances, and Mbappe just kind of overran that pass a little bit. It looked like a pretty decent pass to me. Unfortunately for the Frenchman, maybe his pace a little bit too good for his own good there. Pull it now. Defending once again from Umut though.
Trying to shift that play quickly now. Seeing if he can break through that defence nice and early. Goes for the through ball. I'm not against it. Yes, okay, you've given away possession, but thankfully he has managed to at least reposition a lot of his players.
Mbappe again. Turns back inside. Little fake shot. There's the arrival of Ruud Gullit. But there's the man he's going to be met by. That's Virgil van Dijk. The two Dutchmen coming to blows.
And I'm always for players taking risks. RB Leipzig, they have the goal advantage. Umut has the lead at the moment, but he wants to double that. He doesn't want to rely on just a goal lead because you know how fragile it can be. Instead, he's pushing for those through balls. He's looking for that run every time. He's making off the run balls with his players. And if Monza eSports just keeps sitting off, then eventually Umut will get one of those passes through.
There's a ball inside here. To double the lead here, Umut for RB Leipzig, but well defended there by Monza eSports. Now a chance to counter-attack. You can see a pause being queued up as well with 30 minutes to go. No surprise to see that down.
Yeah, when you're a goal down, you just want to get as attacking as possible, and of course you have the ability to change players. They have eSports accounts, so they've got all of the players available to them, so the best of the best, the cream of the crop, are there waiting on the bench. That through ball doesn't quite work out. And now Umut can look to dominate possession again. One of the things that he was incredible at in FIFA 20 was really controlling a game.
Still an opportunity to make those changes though. For RB Leipzig and for Umut. Very much keeping this game calm and composed. This is where Umut's so good, right? His game management is absolutely flawless at times. So good at taking his time, building up attacks and finding the finish as well. And right on cue, RB Leipzig will double their lead in this second leg.
You just need to do enough to just bring out the opposition, just to frustrate them ever so slightly. People are going to be more than happy to sit back, wait, track with their CDMs and let the defenders do the rest. But if you consistently pass it around the midfield whilst you have a goal lead, they have to crack it at some point. They have to take the bait. They're going to lunge in. And all it takes is one player to be drawn out of position. And then wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. You have that opportunity. Umut takes it. And it is a 2-goal lead. Finally, Kachia can jump into those tactic screen and set up a different style to try and break it down. A 5-3-2 was there and available for him. Even though the 5-3-2, a very defensive formation, it can be used in an offensive way as well. Somewhat similar to a 3-5-2. Personally, if I'm 2-0 down, I think I'd probably go for 3 at the back, but it's all about comfort.
Not a lot of time left as well. You've got to get those players forward. You've got to answer back almost immediately. For AC Monza, a goal here is almost a necessity, as we almost saw the opportunity to find that overlapping run that was just outside of the player who had possession. And now straight up the other end, that through ball once again causing problems. Such a great outlet here for Umut in this game.
The difference to earlier, when I was saying that Umut should be more than happy taking those risks because he was only a goal up. Now he's 2 up. I think we need to see him just holding on to that ball a little bit more, looking to try and secure these points and take this to a third leg where we would have a rematch between Enzarello and Gaucho. He does go back over to that Xbox side.
Great tackle once again. Now on the counter-attack, you see the body stepping forward from Monza eSports. That was such a vital tackle to win. They didn't win the ball there. That was almost a guaranteed golden opportunity for Umut. Need to make something of this, though. Fortunately, though, the two Bruno Fernandez's, Fernandi, would you call that at that point? Cancelling each other out in the midfield.
Fernandes, I don't know. There's so many different things you could probably do with that one. Derek Ray would, I'm sure, find a different way of saying it. That's lovely over the top through ball. Unfortunately, just spins out of play. It looked like it was going to be right on the end of Mbappe's feet.
Well, for Monza eSports, it's now or never. As far as getting back into this game is concerned, around 10 minutes left. Fortunately, though, it's a loose pass as that attempted through ball does not find its target once more. And now you can see the players are just going to have space to work with here for Umut and for RB Leipzig. Those players are going to be committed forward for Monza eSports. Run through the middle. Cristiano Ronaldo, one-on-one once more, goes round the goalkeeper. A ball roll, a heel-to-heel, and a finish. What a performance this has been from Umut to get RB Leipzig back into this game and send it to a third leg.
The heel-to-heel was just cherry on top of the cake as well, because it looked like it was going to be a definite goal, but as soon as that defender tracks back and goes on the line, sometimes they make a miraculous dive and will block it with their legs, but the heel-to-heel just shifted it a little bit further and allowed him to generate the space to put it away. And that is going to be game. Can't see Monza eSports, can't see Kachia getting back into this now with only a few minutes left. It means we will go to a third leg.
It's going to be a free kick here. It's kind of academical at this point, like you're saying. We are going to be going to a third leg. We'll update you with some of the results coming in as well. And when we do get them from our other quarter-final games going on here in Zone 4. But the difficulty here for Umut, even though he's won this game and he's won it fairly convincingly, he's knowing what happened before, as we do see the fourth goal does go in here from Kylian Mbappe. A little bit of fortune along the way, but you can see the celebrations coming in. But now it's up to his teammate. This is where the pressure is off your shoulders. You've done your job, but now knowing that your teammate didn't get the result that he wanted in that first leg, and what's the mentality like here for Umut?
He just has to sit and watch. Like, it's going to be a nerve-wracking experience, but at the same time, he may have given the confidence to Gaucho just to say, look, they are beatable, formation can be broken through, we'll take a look at some goals elsewhere. Do you know what, eSports coming back into things, they did lose the first leg versus Astralis, but it looks like leg number 2 on the PlayStation is far more comfortable for them. It's Team Hullet and Schalke. This was 0-0 for the longest time, Mark.
Yeah, we'll see a couple of goals here from this game as well. A little bit of fortune to get that ball back, but a fantastic pass inside from Pele.
gave Schalke the lead in the 82nd minute, and then almost a carbon copy to make it 2.
Yeah, once you get that much space and you can play the ball backwards, it's always going to be an easy finish. As we can go live now over to Mkers versus Zeta Gaming. Of course, that dramatic penalty shootout that gave Mkers the lead in the first leg, and nothing to, well, separate the two in this particular engagement.
So Zeta Gaming then stepping forward. We'll have possession here in the start of the second half. There's the ball inside, almost straight from the start of this second half. There will be a goal to talk about as Cristiano Ronaldo puts that one away.
Straight into the ball screen as well. Not happy. Get those tactics changed. It looked like it was a 4-4-2 originally. I'm even seeing cameras being changed as well. That's always a sign of nerves, in my opinion, when you start to switch things up. But a nice early goal in the second half is really a confidence booster for Zeta Gaming.
Goal coming in here between Genoa and Astralis, and it's Astralis once more who are trying to fight their way back into this game. A goal from Johan Cruyff, but is it going to be enough? You can see the score there, 3-1, and not a lot of time left in the game as well for them to try and get back in. But from the restart here, we might see them with another opportunity flowing forward. Johan Cruyff picks up the pieces once more, but can't make anything, unfortunately. We'll jump back over to watch Mkers now.
Yeah, almost 2 goals just back to back, which would have made it a very dramatic finish, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen in that game. But Zeta Gaming now with the lead, and they need to win this one to take it to a game 3 as well. If Mkers win this game, then it will be them moving on through to the semi-finals.
Bruno Fernandes goes out wide then. Sabio goes back inside to Cristiano Ronaldo. Once again, just a little flick on the right stick for that directional nutmeg to try and find that little pocket of space to burst into. It will turn into a corner, a green time header as well. Just not the angle there to beat Edwin van der Sar in between the sticks.
I've seen a couple of players attempt that with the goal kick, just trying to get it to one of your taller strikers and see if you could nod it for a quick through ball and just surprise your opponent. Mkers wise to it though, and now it's going to be possession here for Mkers.
Strike in at that near post. The finesse, oh, hit the post, but what a block on the rebound. When you were talking about those blocks, Dan, it's almost as if you called it.
But now this is the dangers. When you get that chance and you think you're in the game, you've put so many men forward, you've committed. You see the off-the-ball shift there as well. Fortunately, just runs out of play and comes to nothing. But for Zeta Gaming, it's about time management already. As I said in the previous game, I'm okay with a couple of risks here or there, but as that clock gets closer towards 90 minutes, really be having to think about holding on to possession. Both Mkers players have been dominating throughout the group stage. Principe and Oli Bolli, 2 of the biggest names that we see in the E-Club World Cup. Are we going to see this go to a third leg?
It's looking like it at the moment, unless Mkers have something to say about it. Here's Pele. Just waiting for someone to show for a pass, and there it is. Cristiano Ronaldo round the corner now. Bruno Fernandes. What's in the box of tricks here for Mkers to find that pocket of space to get that strike on goal and get themselves back into this second leg. Pele, great tackle though from Ruud Gullit. Yeah, stepping in at just the right time.
He's just so good. I mean, we're seeing the best players being used, and you can see why they're so important to some of these teams. And a lot of these players, these pros wouldn't have been able to actually use effectively, especially some of the defenders that you don't necessarily want to inject all your coin balance into in your own personal ultimate team. Instead, you're going to go for those strikers, you're going to go for those midfielders. A player like Trent Alexander-Arnold, for example. Davies, even though he's been amazing at CDM, you won't see too much of him in some people's ultimate teams because they don't want to commit that many coins.
See the game in now, stepping forward. Here's Ruud Gullit. There is an overlap here from Alphonso Davies. Tries to find that little ball through. You can see the idea. Ruud Gullit had found a little pocket of space. For Mkers, so important to defend that attack and give themselves the opportunity to
get back into this game. Eusebio drops deep. There is a run in behind. You can see from Kylian Mbappe, I believe that is on that right-hand side. He said Mkers are going to go back inside here. Pele tries to fire it through. Great tackle from Van Dijk, and Davis has to be alert there to keep possession.
Nice switch. And again, it's all about just biding your time here on set. You've got to be more careful, though, on the ball. Like, if you're going to turn like that with Mbappe, you need a backup plan.
Great ball, though. There's that ball in behind. Mkers with a chance here. Just as we approach the last 10 minutes. What a tackle it was once more, though. But that was a big opportunity for Mkers to get back into this game. Getting into that 18-yard box, Dan, it's a chance to get in those 1v1 situations that pros work so hard to create.
Straight into the tactic screen yet again now. This is where it's crunch time. Bring on some of those players with a bit of pace. Formation has been all right. Don't need to worry too much about it. I personally, I think at this stage, I'd happily go for that all-out attack and put 3 at the back. Constant pressure is something that all players will be thinking about here as well. You want to overwhelm the defence. If you are going to see your opposition just hold on to the ball and try and waste time, then you need to dive straight in, get in their face and win that ball back in those areas.
So Zeta Gaming with this lead. Looking to close things out. You can see the changes in the top left-hand side of your screen as well. There's that ball down the line from Alphonso Davies. Big tackle's going to come in, and Mkers will pick possession up here. Inside the last 10 minutes here, Dan. Is it going to be one last hurrah from Mkers?
Yeah, they need a goal to take this to extra time again between these two sides. If they don't, this is going to a third leg. They have time to work with. Just look at the bodies. 5 at the back now for Zeta Gaming.
Little pocket space though for Cristiano Ronaldo. Tries to find that pass. Possession will turn back over. Bruno Fernandes. Such a deep line here from Zeta Gaming though. Just trying desperately to hold on to this lead. Bruno Fernandes once more. Virgil van Dijk having to get involved as well as Mkers are forced back into positions they don't want to be in. Alphonso Davies won't get around the corner but will win a corner here. 86 minutes on the clock. Fight in. Van der Sar will get a punch away.
Sometimes Cristiano Ronaldo can beat the keeper in those areas, but very rarely. As soon as that goalkeeper is moved, you have to be looking elsewhere. And now Zeta Gaming on the counter-attack, and it's all about just running down this clock. Alphonso Davies does come in, and unfortunately, that flag is pointing in the wrong direction for them.
88 minutes on the clock. Mkers need to win the ball back now. Zeta Gaming just biting down the seconds. As Davies does win the ball back though, so a chance here at the death for Mkers to step forward. Mbappe can't get away from Carlos Alberto, but still a few seconds left here for Mkers, Dan.
Yeah, with that constant pressure on, it means if they lose the ball, those players are going to be aggressive. They're going to be trying to win it back. Need to go forward. Every pass has to go forward from this point.
Ronaldo. One tackle, and this game over. Cristiano Ronaldo gets around the corner here. Mkers with a huge chance! And right at the death, Mkers find the equaliser. Ice in the veins.
So many twists and turns with R9. If he had gone a little bit too far backwards, the referee was 100% going to blow that whistle. Maybe just needed a lunge from Patrick Vieira on the side of Zeta Gaming. But it means we go to extra time again with that matchup. We will update you with how that one goes. But back to our feature game of Monza eSports versus RB Leipzig. Of course, this is the third and deciding fixture between these two teams.
So whatever happens in this game, it's a shootout between these two teams. One team will fall out of the knockout stages here in Zone 4. One team will continue. As Alphonso Davies now steps forward for RB Leipzig. Goes back inside. Pele. Incredible agility and balance on that foot item, as we well know. You can see on display, twisting left and right. Speaking of which, on the ball once more, goes for that long-range finesse. Good block, though, from the defender.
chance to breathe for both of these players, and they would have had a chance to feel each other out in that first fixture. Of course, this is going to be a repeat game of the first game we saw between the two players. This was a decision that was made by Monza. They opted to go for Xbox being played twice.
Ball around the corner though, Pele! And there is the first goal! And RB Leipzig take the lead here. And Gaucho, the man who went down, of course, in the first fixture, in the first leg, takes the lead here.
But Monza, they wanted to avoid playing Umut twice and having Umut just running them and running this show, but Gaucho now turning up after a loss in the first leg. Seems to have found a little bit of form, and an early goal and the first goal does absolute wonders for your confidence.
The confidence, certainly, like you mentioned, going to be sky high all of a sudden for RB Leipzig and for Umut, who did the job to get to this stage. He's going to have a smile on his face if his teammate can step up. Gaucho is doing that right now, but has to be so careful once again. We know how dangerous from that first leg that Enzarello can be for Monza eSports. Big tackle from Virgil van Dijk, though. You can see that if he got that one wrong, it's kind of a 50-50 guess on what way that Monza were going to be turning. He made the tackle when it mattered. He's bringing those player cams once more, and both of them looking pretty calm for the situation, Dan.
You could argue that this would be an upset if RB Leipzig were able to progress to the semi-finals, considering Monza topped their group. They had 27 points, they were just on fire. RB Leipzig fourth in their group, and that's of course why they're facing one another. That's how the draw works, and now maybe even a chance for two here.
Pele tries to get that ball back inside. You can see again, just using that agility and balance on that foot item to shift left, shift right, try and fool the defender to create the yard of space. Defender's leg, though, stretched out to make that interception for Monza eSports now, as that ball just about finds its way to Bruno Fernandes initially. Speaking of which, he now picks the ball back up. The Portuguese man stepping forward this time. The team of the year, Fernandes, looking for a phenomenal ball inside. Unfortunately, couldn't find that target, but Monza eSports here growing back into this game at the end of this first half, Dan.
And the extra fake shot just took him so close to the line.
Davis gets inside the box. Maybe didn't expect to keep the ball in that situation, which is why you saw the little bit of a rush skill move. Pull it though, goes for that left-footed strike. Van Dijk though, even though they've made the block, the pressure's still on here, Dan.
Unfortunately, it comes to nothing. It will be a goal kick. That skill move into instant shot. I've seen a couple attempts of that, just hoping that the skill move does enough to fool the defender so that they don't come in with a block. Not happening just yet. It's still an advantage. RB Leipzig here.
A switch of the play here from Monza eSports. Cristiano Ronaldo now dropping deep. More patient build-up. You can see the Monza eSports just playing maybe for this last attack of the half. Unless the opportunity does present itself. Bruno Fernandes makes a good tackle initially. However, the ball will still fall here for Monza eSports. You just have to feel for Gaucho there. It felt like he made 3 or 4 good enough tackles to get the ball back and was still defending.
I'm just confused. Like, Enzarello's playing the 5 at the back and he's got so much width and his wing-backs are up there and he needs to use them, but instead he keeps going down the centre of the pitch. I wonder if he's just trying to be a little bit unpredictable and not going down the formal way of playing 5-3-2.
Great ball inside though. You can see the idea there, the quick passing. Wasn't quite quick enough to fool Virgil van Dijk though, in a half-time here. Gaucho does have the lead, still hasn't created a huge amount of chances, but the one he has created, Dan, has turned into that goal that could separate the two teams.
Well, with Mkers versus Zeta Gaming, it's 2-2 in extra time. And this is the PlayStation fixture still. So still that second leg. And we need to see if one of these teams can actually find a victorious goal, or whether it's going to be another penalty shootout, Mark.
Could well be, could well be. First one was a penalty shootout, and the second one looks like it might be following suit here. Still some time to go. There's still the chance for someone to step up and make themselves a hero here in the second leg. Cristiano Ronaldo does go back inside. There is a run in behind. You can see some desperate switching with the centre-backs there to try and cover that run from R9. Chose not to pull the trigger, though. Instead, just making sure the Mkers have this last attack of the game. Here's Ronaldo. Gets the ball inside. Bruno Fernandes. Big interception from Patrick Vieira.
There is time for another attack for Zeta Gaming. And this will probably be the last attack of the game, and it's almost a carbon copy of what we saw in the first fixture between these two. Zeta Gaming had that last attack before it was going to go to penalties. Need to go forward now, though. Just 1 minute of added on time.
Maldini does get the tackle. However, possession still here for Zeta Gaming. The opportunity is still to go forward. You can see. Fully aware of the situation. Surely not again. Right at the death. Cristiano Ronaldo inside to Mbappe. Floats it up in the air, and Petr Cech has to get a hand on it. And once again, drama at the end.
It's a penalty shootout again. And Mkers, they won it 4-2 in the first shootout. If they win this penalty shootout again, they will be through to those semi-finals. And stepping up first is going to be R9. With the right foot, goes right, but it's saved, and it's a nice early lead here for Zeta Gaming, and Ronaldinho on the pitch now to try and take the lead, which they do.
Zeta Gaming wanted the good then for Mkers, who one of my picks as favourites. Well, things are looking a bit shaky here. Neymar steps up though, goes bottom left, it's green as well. And that's going to make the nerves settle just a little bit. A save here would be absolutely huge, but he sends him the wrong way.
Famous stance of Cristiano Ronaldo. It's confident, it's greened, but the keeper was a little bit close to that one. Still, Zeta Gaming can continue their lead, and they do so with Eusebio.
Perfection from Zeta Gaming so far. Pressure back on to Mkers here. Bruno Fernandes puts that one bottom right. And now a save here really would shake things up. Puts it in the bottom left, but it's going to be saved, and we're tied up once more.
Mbappe now. Cool, calm and collected in real life, but it's off the post, and Zeta Gaming have the chance to take this.
Patrick Vieira steps up versus Petr Cech, and he makes the save. And what a save it was. Hullet goes for the Panenka, and that is going to surely, potentially come back to bite Mkers here. Mbappe steps up, but no, it's another save.
Surely someone has to take advantage. Davies now with the left foot, saved again!
Unbelievable stuff here. Their chance to win it here. Ruud Hullet versus Cech, and finally they put it away, but what a penalty shootout that was.
And that means we go into a third leg between those two. Mkers won the first, Zeta won the second.
Two shootouts and neither team is still out. We'd still go to the third leg. Unbelievable stuff. We have another goal going in though, between Monza eSports and RB Leipzig, and it's Monza eSports on the attack. This is the goal that we've just seen. Ruud Hullet, oh, beautiful stuff. Little roll into the finish. And now we're going to jump back into this game live.
And this is the deciding third leg as a reminder. We've just seen a goal go in as well. Just off screen, Monza have taken a 2-1 lead, Mark. So
what a turnaround.
RB Leipzig, who had the goal advantage and were looking maybe to crawl their way through to the semi-finals, suddenly this has been flipped on its head. And Monza now just 20 minutes to defend and get their way to the semi-finals. And we can take a look at how this goal was scored. Mbappe just on the right-hand side. Oh, it's a nice shift to Cristiano Ronaldo. And the goalkeeper just feet planted. Takes full advantage of it.
It's great composure once more as we join the game live. One thing that always stands out to me is sometimes these pros, they don't take the first opportunity to shoot. You work so hard to get that. It's about working that extra pass, finding that little bit of composure in the most stressful of circumstances. Around half an hour, or so to say 25 minutes in game here for RB Leipzig to turn this one around. And this would be an upset. I know you were saying the Monza eSports were top of their group, but for me, the caliber of player that's on RB Leipzig cannot be underestimated, but they could be crashing out because the man in the top left of your screen is looking absolutely phenomenal. Enzarello and Monza eSports take a bow.
It depends how you look at it, really. If you're looking on form, we've seen Monza eSports just smash their way through the group stages, but on paper, the squad of Leipzig, Umet, who we've seen in previous FUT Champions Cup finals, Gaucho, who has been just a house name in FIFA eSports, well, they are a little bit away from just crashing out of this tournament. And there's the reactions as well of that second leg, with Zeta Gaming winning the penalty shootout to ensure it does go to a third leg.
Amazing stuff, we have to say. It's even though we're all remote, it's great to see all the players' reactions. The fact that we've got all of the feeds from the players sat at home, wherever they may be. You can see the emotion, you can see the passion. Even though they're not here in person, they're certainly here in spirit. As Monza eSports are now moments away from knocking out RB Leipzig in the quarter-final here in Zone 4. And Enzarello, a name who we hadn't heard much of before this year, he's certainly making a name for himself now.
And how is the bottle with 21 minutes to go? Possession, of course, from kickoff for Gaucho. So can look to try and strike back instantly and make this 3-2 and make it a very nervy ending for Enzarello. But if Enzarello can step in here, win this ball back, regain that possession and just start to chip away at the time, then suddenly Gaucho is going to be really struggling to break through.
Needs a goal now. Needs a goal from this attack to give him the time to go forward once more, to win that ball back. Should he lose the opportunity to go forward, as Bruno Fernandes is going to be the player who's trying to dictate where these passes are going to break down the defence here of Monza eSports. But you can just see so deep, so many players, but it might not matter as Patrick Vieira steps in for Monza eSports, for Enzarello. A little bit shaky at the back here, as you would expect. Well, one thing that impressed me, Dan, is when we saw that third goal go in, not too much of a reaction from Enzarello, kept it calm. You could see that in his demeanour, knowing that the job wasn't done.
Yeah, you got time to celebrate when that final whistle blows. For now, it's about focus, it's about staying calm, it's about defending these attacks from Gaucho.
Mbappe finds the ball around the corner here to Cristiano Ronaldo. There's the heel-to-heel, there's the turn, surely no! Maldini with the block and the second one as well. 10 minutes left in this game, but on the counter-attack now is Cristiano Ronaldo able to beat the offside trap? Unfortunately not.
Will be offside, will still be time for Gaucho to just try and get one to give him that little bit of belief. I saw a little shake of the head after those chances were blocked. Maybe this could be it though.
Davis inside the box, ball falls luckily here for Ronaldo once again. Paolo Maldini with that block, and that's 3 huge blocks for Monza eSports from the Italian wall. Almost poetic in the fact that it is him who's making these blocks as the ball rolls across an open goal, but nobody there for RB Leipzig to convert.
Just hold on to the ball now and you're through to the semi-finals. It's as simple as that. Constant pressure's going to be on, does give it away, but Mbappe wrestles it back. And there shouldn't be enough time for Gaucho. And despite the fact that RB Leipzig have been such a good team in this tournament, it looks like this is going to be the end.
Mbappe toying with Davis. For Monza eSports, a chance to really cap off a phenomenal performance with Lionel Messi. Monza eSports flying here in the quarterfinals.
Flying all the way through into the semi-finals with that goal. I mean, it was there already realistically, but that just puts it completely out of reach now for Gaucho. Dejected in the player cam, and quite rightly so. It's never easy to lose a game of FIFA, especially when he had a goal lead. We jumped over to the other game to see the penalty shootout. We come back and it was all thrown away. And Monza eSports, after topping their group, continue their form and will move on to the semi-finals.
Unbelievable stuff from AC Monza Team eSports. Like you say, Dan, the first team to make it into our semi-finals. It was stressful. I'm not going to lie, it wasn't done easily, but they get the job done. And now, between Mkers and Zeta Gaming, we see a goal flying in. Zeta Gaming now going to get the reply here. We've seen 2 penalty shootouts between these two teams. We should remember as well, Astralis in Genoa still going on as well, Dan.
Yeah, and it looks like it was an early goal for Astralis. Well, a late goal, an 81st minute goal. which might set them up for a semi-final encounter with AC Monza. We'll see how they close that one out in the end, but we will jump into this game live between Mkers and Zeta Gaming, the third leg after those 2 penalty shootouts. Nail-biting stuff between these two teams.
What a surprise to see them drawing as well. And nobody being able to wrestle any kind of momentum between these two teams. That's kind of how we like it. We know how competitive it's going to be, having made it to this stage of the FIFAe Club World Cup. And no difference here in this third deciding leg. Zeta Gaming on the attack though. Carlos Alberto, Mbappe inside now to R9. A bit of pace to this attack. Davis now with the chance to go forward, fired in once more. Maldini just about gets that right. Has to get his feet sorted pretty quickly though.
And this Mkers side, I mean, I've been watching them throughout the group stages, and it has been very much Ollie Bolly picking up the points on the Xbox. Correct me if I'm wrong, he is playing Xbox, Principe on PlayStation. It's been 16 points for Ollie Bolly, and it's only been 6 points for Principe, but still a mammoth 22 between the two of them.
Well, last chance to attack here before half-time is going to go to Mkers. Davis now stepping forward. You can see Ollie Bolly's profile there on the left-hand side as well. 16 points that you were talking about, Dan. 2.17 goals per game. And he's going to have to find some more here in the second half.
And I think this was important for Mkers as well, because the fact that Ollie Bolly has played 2 of these legs is what has been important for the Mkers side. I mean, Principe, an incredible player, but he has had some results that maybe should have gone his way through at the group stages. But Ollie Bolly has always been there to pick him back up, and that is why it's so important to have a teammate that you can rely on. But on the other side, I mean, Zeta Gaming, we've got Dittmer. 10 points he's found, a goal difference that isn't quite as impressive, a negative goal difference, 12 for, 13 against, but still has been able to find those goals. And it's whether he can find some goals to get back into this one, or, sorry, take the lead in this one. Otherwise, we might go into yet another penalty shootout.
I mean, it's almost as if it's written in the stars at this point, isn't it? You know, we've had 2 penalty shootouts. It's only right that we finish it off with a third and kick off the E-Club World Cup with a bang that we've been waiting for. Or one of the players will just run away with it in the second half. There's going to be no in-between. But Mkers and Zeta Gaming back underway now. And the one thing here for Dietmar that you can see on your screen is he's going to have to shore up a little bit at the back. Ollie Bolly's been scoring goals, and so has he, but it's been the defences that have been the difference.
Well, nothing could separate them when they played each other already in that first leg. It's the penalty shootout, though, that went in favour of Ollie Bolly, and if it does go to a penalty shootout again, then there's going to be even more mind games, especially after watching your teammates have to duke it out, and so many save penalties. You do get a little bit of confidence in a penalty shootout. I feel when you start to save one and then another, you get a real rhythm of where your opponent's going to be placing that ball. But we don't have to worry about penalties just yet. Still plenty of time for one of these teams to really take an advantage.
Here's Cristiano Ronaldo looking for that ball into the run of R9. It'll be cut out though, as Vieira sends that one across to Ruud Gullit. Zeta Gaming, Dietmar. He's stepping forward once more. One outside here from Kylian Mbappe. Strikes the defender away momentarily, giving a bit of space here to Patrick Vieira. Here is the Frenchman. Team of the Year foot item. Really is a special one. Bullies. Ruud Gullit off the ball as well. Was trying to give him some unwanted attention. Even though this attack has been slow, it's been methodical. Approaching that 18-yard box, but as he does, Carlos Alberto steps in, but this is where you need to focus. When you feel like you've done well to get that initial tackling, you don't get rewarded with possession. That's where sometimes you can switch off.
And we're talking about like Kylian Mbappe and how good he is, but both players playing him at pretty much a wing-back position in that 5-3-2. Of course, getting forward is going to be absolutely phenomenal, but coming back defensively, the pace is really going to help you out as well. When you've got absolute class like R9, you've got Pele, you've got Team of the Year Ronaldo as well, you have to find somewhere to put these players on the pitch.
Mkers stepping forward here. Hour mark just passed into the last 30 minutes or so in this game. A reminder that the tie is 1-1 between these two. And this is the decided leg. A little bit of space here for R9.
Couldn't quite get that one right though, Van der Sar. That save looked a bit more comfortable than maybe you would expect from a shot that really didn't invite much pressure from the defending team from R9.
Yeah, you see those go in sometimes when the goalkeeper's vision is impaired by the defenders in front of him, and maybe there's less time to think about any sort of goalkeeper movement, but it wasn't really much of a shot from R9. You'd expect better. Could have argued even just to drive that one across goal low and hard and see if the keeper struggles to get down to it. It's definitely possession in the favour of Oli Bolli at the moment.
Bruno Fernandes finds the runner Cristiano Ronaldo. Now what has Oli Bolli got in the box of tricks? Not enough to get past the returning Bruno Fernandes, unfortunately. Zeta Gaming now, 20 minutes left before we again head to extra time.
Oli Bolli's had some big results in the group stages. He took down Aga 4-2, beat Julie 3-1. He has been able to score against these big players, but it does seem like against Dittmer here, he's just really struggling to break down that defence. As we're going to see substitutions being made and some of those icons of the game being introduced. Ronaldinho on the pitch, loving the fact that we get Ronaldinho at these events because...
I feel like I haven't seen him all year.
You don't really.
It's like an old friend.
It's like, hello, welcome back.
And then it's been in lockdown.
And then you see some of the things he can do on the pitch. It is incredible. I'd certainly love to try that moment's Ronaldinho. But 72 minutes gone then, still 1-1. Fresh players on the pitch, so we are going to be seeing some of those defenders just really struggle to deal with the new injection of pace of these fresh legs.
Kayo Saka on the pitch as well. Future star, I presume. With all due respect to his standard item and his inform, yeah. There's a little bit of difference, but... Here's Kylian Mbappe then on this inside. A little bit of a loose pass, though, to be honest with you. Maybe pressure's starting to get here to Dittmar, knowing that Oli Bolli is such a dangerous opponent. Trying to force the play a little bit too much. Maybe just willing to take the risk and see if he can win it here. One thing that's always impressed me with Oli Bolli, though, Dan, is his temperament as a player. Very calm in these high-pressure situations. Sort of brings out the best in him.
Yeah, mentality is very important in this situation as well, because, yes, OK, you've got another 30 minutes to rely on if it does go to extra time. But if you allow the game just to play out, there is always that risk of making a mistake or your opponent having a piece of magic. Oli Bolli just really taking the game into his own hands here.
Scoop turn, almost gets around the defender, and again, it's Paolo Maldini who brings down the player. And again, the referee points to the spot. We didn't get to see the replay, but for me, once again, looked a little bit soft. But for Mkers, this could be a gift inside the last 10 minutes. Ronaldo versus Van der Sar, puts it away, and Mkers take the lead.
Oli Bolli has already won a penalty shootout in this matchup. A sip of tea. The keeper stayed dead centre of the goal. And there were so many things to think about with that penalty. They've already taken enough against each other. They would have been thinking, OK, where did they prefer? Was it right? Was it those dinks down the middle that we were seeing? Predicted wrong. And now Mkers with the chance to go through to the semi-finals. And you were talking about Oli Bolli's temperament and how calm he is. Well, now this is the perfect scenario for him. Defend the kickoff, win that ball back, hold on to possession. And this tie is yours.
I'd love to see the tackle again. I mean, it did seem a little bit soft from my point of view, but having been given the opportunity, you have to put it away. But it would be a little bit of a bitter pill to swallow to fall to a penalty in that position. For Zeta Gaming, though, and for Dittmer, he's going to go forward now. Still got time on his side. That's the one good thing, but a pass like that is going to mean that time is going to elapse quicker than he can remember. Maldini with a much stronger tackle. This time, nothing given. Here's the run from Pele. Zeta Gaming, players flooding forward, has to try and find an opportunity. Julio will pick up the pieces here. Fernandes. Eusebio waiting for the opportunity to find a ball inside. You can see that Oli Bolli desperately trying to marshal the defence. But Dittmer keeps coming forward, and it's going to be put wide.
And sometimes you just feel it's not going to be your day.
Team of the year, Cristiano Ronaldo, on his left foot, cannot put it away. And that's where the 4-star weak foot, I guess, comes into play. And that is going to be so difficult now for Zeta Gaming and Ditmir to rescue this ball back. Oli Bolly just needs to hold on to possession, but maybe this is a chance.
He deserves that little bit of fortune going his way. For Zeta Gaming, if they somehow get back into this, Ditmir is a man of steel nerves. Pele goes near post. Oh, he's put it away. And you can't say it's not deserved. Zeta Gaming stay alive. Unbelievable scenes.
And as soon as I saw Pele, I was like, surely this has to go in. Surely we're going to extra time. He couldn't rely on Cristiano Ronaldo. One of the best footballers in the game. 98 rated Pele secures this up. And we are going to extra time yet again for the 3rd time between these players.
Wow. First lot of quarterfinals of the day, this one. We've got plenty more to come. And we are going to extra time for the 3rd time. And to be honest, I've got to say, Zeta Game deserved that. I think the penalty was a little bit soft. I feel like Cristiano Ronaldo should at least be testing the goalkeeper. I think they deserve at least to go to extra time here.
Yeah, I think that it's clear, I mean, from the first leg between these two players that there is not much to separate them. If it was a penalty to separate them after a penalty shootout that already did previously, it would have been a little bit harsh, but sometimes that is the case. However, putting yourself in a position where you do create not 1 but 2 chances in the late stage, where Oli Bolly is obviously going to be defending. He's going to be pulling all those players back, trying to track those runs, player switching as quick as possible, but just couldn't keep up with it in the end. And that's going to be frustrating for Oli Bolly now. I mean, momentum very much going to be on Ditmir's side here. He's going to be having all that adrenaline rushing through him. Oli Bolly knows he was minutes away from taking his team into the semi-final.
Yeah, even that strike, the thing that almost caught me off guard with that Pele strike as well was you almost felt the Ronaldo shot was, with chance just before, was a better opportunity from a better angle from, you know, a position you expect him at least test the goalkeeper. You almost feel like Oli Bolly might have been a little bit surprised to see that one actually find the back of it. It was kind of like a Hail Mary at the end from Pele.
I said it before, I guess that's where that weak foot does come into things. You don't get the 100% chances. Anyway, extra time it is. Again, between these two teams. Plenty of fresh legs on the pitch to try and do some damage.
Perfect way to respond, which means go back into the lead, and it is going to be the perfect start here for Mkers. Disappointment moments ago, but now elation as Cristiano Ronaldo gives them the lead once more and puts the pressure firmly back onto Zeta Gaming.
And I think we're going to see both players trying those directional nutmegs every time you get into that area, especially when you are in extra time. The defenders aren't going to be as quick to react. The acceleration not quite there because the stamina has depleted ever so slightly. Cristiano Ronaldo not missing that chance on the opposition side. It's a dodgy one for Ditmir of Zeta Gaming earlier, but now he has to find those same chances he did in the late stages of regular time.
Ronaldinho just about keeps this one in play. You can see Bruno Fernandes is wrestling with him to get the ball back. And now, back to the well for Zeta Gaming to try and carve out another chance to get back into this game. That's a nice ball out wide here to Mbappe. Eusebio goes back inside. Pull it. Still time to work with here. The one positive to take away is that that goal was pretty much at the start of extra time here for Mkers. So Zeta Gaming know that they've got time left. Ditmir knows that he's got time to create not maybe just one chance, but 2 or 3 to get back into this game. Here's Cristiano Ronaldo. There is that directional nutmeg again, but just so many bodies in the way, and now Ronaldinho is trying to break away.
A chance to maybe put this game to bed with a 2-goal lead and only 15 minutes left. Carlos Alberto steps in, and it should be half-time of extra time as he puts that one out, which it is. And you have to spare a thought for Daniel Aguilar, the teammate of Ditmir here, just watching on and knowing that it's all in Ditmir's hands. On the other side for Principe, He's saying, Ollie Bolly, do it again for me. Take us through to the semi-finals. Do your job.
Here is that goal then, right at the start of extra time. Good composure from Ollie Bolly again. You can see not getting carried away with the situation. As we're back underway live, 15 minutes in game here for Zeta Gaming to once again find a last gasp goal and possibly send us to the third penalty shootout in as many games.
And the chances will be there. We saw that when it comes to crunch time, Ollie Bolly will sit back, he will give you that space, and it's about whether you can actually do anything with it. Those are the areas, though, where Ollie Bolly wants to win the ball back, just around that central defensive midfielder option, because then this could happen.
Makers in behind here, Ollie Bolly with a chance to really tie things up, 1v1 with the goalkeeper, Van der Sar gets a piece of it. Trying to play the smart game here. Ronaldo fighting with the fullback, Davis, and it's going to go out for a goal kick, I believe.
I think that was a wasted chance. I'm going to be completely honest. He wanted to just ball roll the keeper, but then the ball roll didn't really work because the keeper came down to the ground. Didn't even give himself a chance to try and score. Could have even tried to drive it across goal, even a little dink over the keeper. Probably had it in his mind, should I just be going to the corner flag? And that keeps Zeta Gaming within a chance of getting back into this here.
Well, Pele, the hero of just a few moments ago, might have found an amazing ball. Alphonso Davies takes to the skies and calmly, as you like, just nods it back to the goalkeeper. Turnover of possession, though, is only momentary, as Makers now send that ball forward. Ronaldinho tries to keep the ball in, but Zeta Gaming will have possession. A chance to go forward once more.
Trying something a little bit different as well, just seeing if you could generate some space with that dink across goal. Maybe some other fullbacks might not have been able to get back to it, but Alphonso Davies did.
Ball in behind. Cristiano Ronaldo. This will be, you would feel, maybe the last chance of the game for Zeta Gaming. They can't take it. Will the goalkeeper beat the forward to it? Unfortunately, Van der Sar put the ball out of play, which just gifts possession back to Makers, and for Ollie Bolly and for Makers, surely now this is the game done and dusted, unless Saka can fire this ball forward and Dittmir can win the header. It is going to be game over here, and finally, after an epic, Makers will make it through to the semi-finals.
2 penalty shootouts. It looked like maybe it was going to be a 3rd penalty shootout, but Makers in the end go through to the semi-finals. What an incredible match that was, Mark.
Absolutely unbelievable stuff coming in. You can see the quarter-final results here as well. We've still got to have a coin toss, I believe, for one of our games as well. AC Monza eSports, though, you can see they went through against RB Leipzig. Well, that was our feature game. Genoa eSports falling to Astralis. Congratulations to Astralis for going through, and our other semi-final is going to be Schalke versus Makers. Unbelievable stuff down from all of the teams who have gone through.
A great performance from everyone, some real shock results, but honestly, I think the biggest one there is Monza taking down RB Leipzig. A shame to see them drop at the quarterfinals, but it's the same form that we saw from the group stages. Monza progress, and the semi-finals are looking tasty.
Absolutely amazing stuff. We're going to wrap this up, though, from the quarterfinals. It's time to go back over to Layla and Spencer to take us through the games.
3 deciders, 2 sets of penalties, and the top-seeded team already knocked out. Intense is an understatement. We're going to break that all down in a moment, but first, all the pressure is going to be put on Spencer for the coin toss. We need to choose which platform the semi-finals will be played on. First, let's go for Monza v Astralis, our first semi-final.
Okay.
Do you want to? How are you feeling about this?
I'm a bit nervous, to be honest, because it's. I mean, it's 2-sided coin. We've got the Xbox side, we've got the PlayStation side. We ready?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, it's all about the flip.
Yes, get it right.
Okay, here we go. Yes, bang.
Okay.
Right, and that is what it's going to be. Xbox. You see that one?
So
Xbox.
the first semi-final, Monza versus Astralis, is going to be played on the Xbox.
And I've got to say, that's very important. Obviously, we know that means if it goes to a third match, that will be that console. But crucially, those 3 deciding games that happened all were won by the team that had the pick of what console went first. So if you've got a good Xbox player, that's a really good omen. We're going to go again.
For the second coin toss. This is for Schalke v Makers.
Here we go. Wasn't as good a flip, but we've got to commit. We've got to commit. And it is also Xbox.
Ooh,
you see that
all
one?
semi-finals to be played on the Xbox.
OK. Well, you go. We know what we've got to deal with now. So if you've got an Xbox player, you're in good nick.
Yes.
A decent player, I mean.
Exactly. So I believe we've got some analysis coming up later on.
Yeah.
But for right now, we're going back to our comms team.
Thank you, Layla. And it's time for us to have a look through what has happened, our quarter-final games. You can see it all here. We've got our semi-finals ready. But we're going to have a look back on some of the goals, Dan. And the first game that we're going to look at is Genoa eSports versus Astralis. This is the winning goal from that game.
Yeah, we're going to look at all of the goals that were able to win the games for these teams. It was the 82nd minute where Astralis were able to break through, and it's such a nice volley. I mean, you do get in that position. It doesn't matter who is on the end of it, but amazing stuff from them. They will progress through to the semi-finals where they will face up against AC Monza. And as we heard, it's going to be Xbox playing first. So a similar situation for Monza where the Xbox player is going to have to try and do what they can to try to get through to that final.
And then it was Team Hullet versus Schalke, and you can see Schalke getting it done in the two legs as well. This was the final goal as well. 89 minutes on the clock. Patrick Vieira striding forward. A little bit of contact from Carlos Alberto, and I tell you what, the referees are looking generous today.
Yeah, very generous indeed. And there was the penalty as well. Just bottom left-hand corner, simple as you like, a 3-0 victory for Schalke. Oh, stir in the pot as well. I can always appreciate that. They will be facing up against Mkers in that semi-final. Another Xbox tie as well. Xbox first, it means that Xbox will play first and third if it gets there. And we saw this goal mark, the space generated from that directional nutmeg for Oli Bolli. He's going to be under pressure again, playing games 1 and potentially 3.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be used to it by now. He's going to be feeling the rhythm. He's going to be feeling good. But if you look back on that series, it was more than what we just imagined, because it was 2 penalty shootouts and that goal in extra time. But amazing stuff. You can see the semi-finals we've got to come, though. But it's time now to go over to Spencer, because he's got some analysis coming from the AC Monza versus RBLZ game.
I have indeed. Thank you, gentlemen. First bit of analysis from me. We're going to keep it very simple, OK? Sometimes it's easy to overcomplicate things in FIFA. That's not what I'm about, personally. Don't need the skill moves. A 1-2 is one of the most basic ways you can score in football, but one of the most effective. We're going to look at a 1-2 here, done by Monza. It was actually the first goal we saw on the stream today in that game. Obviously, Monza ended up winning it. So we've got the ball here. It's paused with Pele on the ball, and we're going to watch it slowly here. First of all, let's look at the options. So you've got Pele, and we've got a second player here. This is what the 1-2 is going to be between. And they're up against 2 centre-backs here. So technically, it's 2v2. If you look at that, sort of where the play is going to get focused. How does it end up that Monza end up going through? So I'm going to show you here. So we play it slowly. At this point, Bosh, you see the arrow above the player shows you who's selected right now. We can see that this player here has stepped forward from centre-back, OK? He's originally stepped towards Pele, then he started to move towards Ronaldo, who's got the ball. What that's done is it means that those 2 centre-backs are no longer flat. There's a space that's opened up in here, which is going to get obviously exploited in a second with that second pass of the 1-2. Ronaldo's going to return it to Pele into that space. He actually goes this way with his pass, sort of outside the defender, but it works, as you see. We'll play it through. A little bit of movement from Ronaldo, and at that point there's a number of ways he can score. He can go near post as he did, or he could even do an extra pass, sort of that extra pass we talk about a lot in competitive FIFA to score. So that wasn't particularly a special goal, but this is a special moment. This is our 2 casters, and this was that game between Mkers and Zeta that 3 times went to extra time. It went the distance. Twice it went to penalties. But this is what stopped it going to penalties. This moment here, goal from Mkers. We're going to analyse the reaction from our casters, OK? We're going to try and stop the moment that they lost their heads. Watch the boys. Look at the... First of all, let's talk about the positioning. Right, 45-degree angle. There used to be 70%. They've had a year off from casting. They've lost a little bit. But right here, if we focus on Dan Gaskin particularly, his head is gone. His head is also gone. They're no longer in the studio, but they enjoyed that moment, as did I. Mkers come through. That's your analysis from me. You can expect more of that as we go on. So there you go.
I absolutely love that analysis. The fact that we're analysing our casters as well is brilliant. Come straight back over because we've got so much drama to go through. Really pleased to see the Brazilian king open up the score sheet.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing also we've got to talk about is these guys using their own squads as well. So the player selection is different to what we're used to maybe in other competitive events where they've got every single player available to them. Sometimes there's a little bit more preference in there as well. But Pele gets through, of course, and yeah, once you get a chance like that, you're probably going to score it.
All the drama on day one, but also quite a tough way to go out for someone like Zeta Gaming. They must be frustrated right now.
Zeta done unbelievably well there. Again, I said Mkers are the on-paper favourites, but they needed penalties. They needed penalties again. I thought we were going to have a third penalty shootout there. But it would have been a harsh way to go out regardless. But crucially, I think it's really important that each of our three of the 4 games there went to a decider. And in each one, it was the team who had first pick, the higher seeded team, as to what console was used that won. So this is really important. Now, obviously, it was up to the coin. That could play a huge part in it. The Xbox players are going to have potentially an extra game. You mentioned the success of the higher seeded team, but Team Hullet... Yes, Team Hullet with the exception to the rule. There's only one game that actually was decided without that third match.
Without the decider.
Yeah, and that was Hullet versus Schalke. Team Hullet versus Schalke, I should say. And let's be honest, stats-wise, I said before, you know, Schalke on paper were the worst team that made it out. They had a -6 goal difference, 9 points less than the team that topped their group, which was Monza. So we'd expect that would have been fairly obvious result between them and obviously a top seed team in Team Hullet. And Team Hullet have had a fantastic season, but unfortunately they're not going to be winning the FIFAe Club World Cup. Schalke go through. Talk to me a little bit about Monza dealing so well with an early red card. Yeah, well, the Monza-Leipzig game was very interesting because obviously I said that there was a gap between the two teams in the sense that it was first versus fourth, and I did predict Monza to win. However, I thought it was going to be closer than the group stage suggested because obviously Leipzig finished fourth, but only 2 points behind top spot, and they had the joint best goal scored and the second best goal difference. So it did deliver. The stats did stand up on that one. Monza come through. We saw a few red cards. I'm sure a few penalties given away by Maldini, of course. Maldini, Italians in FIFA are doing very well, but virtual Italians on the game, Maldini. Even better. Well, they're worse. They're giving penalties away left, right and centre.
True. So Monza will be playing Astralis.
Yes.
How do you see that game lining up?
Oh, I mean, it's going to be great. I can't wait for it. Italy versus Denmark in terms of the two teams here. I mean, these guys don't disappoint. We're learning more about Monza all the time. They've definitely got to be considered favourites now for me. But then Astralis is such a good side. So much reliability there with Aga. So many goals, opportunities with Uston, who's known as being a high-scoring, free-flowing attacker. So I think that's going to be a really good game to watch. And then our second semi, Schalke versus Mkers. This will be quite an interesting matchup. Well, Schalke, I mean, you can tell just from looking at the pictures there, they're a very young squad. The boys have done tremendously well to get this far. Yuli and JH7 didn't tip them to, as I mentioned with the stats there. Didn't think they'd go from fourth against first and beat Team Hullet, but they have done. Straight away, they look very decent. But even though Mkers needed penalties and whatnot to get through, I still see them as favourites. You know, these guys have won events. It makes a big difference if you've won major tournaments. Principe's done it. Oli Bolly's done it. It's such a good squad. Italian and Swede together. I think they're going to come out on top, but I don't want to write Schalke off again because they've done so well, the lads. So I'm not going to ask you to sort of cement a decision there, but I would like to know whether or not we're going to have the emotion, stress and anxiety of penalties all over again, do you think? I mean, there's every chance, isn't there? Yeah. There's less games now, obviously, in the semi-finals, so, but it's going to be tight. These guys are top level, obviously, to get this far. But yeah, I mean, for me, Mkers from day one, even before qualification began, I thought that they looked like the strongest team on paper. They just got to deliver. But I mean, we can't write off Monza either. Well, our casters are ready. It's time now for your semi-finals. It's over to Richard Buckley and Brandon Smith.
Thank you very much, Layla and Spencer. And yes, here we go then. Semi-final time in the FIFAe Club World Cup. And it's nice to see you again, Richard. It's been about 12 months since we were last in Milan, wasn't it, for the last FIFAe Club World Cup? 12 months on, times have changed, new players have emerged, and we look forward to this tournament with maybe a top four that not everybody would have imagined.
It's been a wild 12 months. But I've come today. Fresh haircut, fresh shirt.
Quite a jazzy shirt as well, isn't it?
I just feel fantastic to be here. I cannot lie. It feels fantastic to get into some games, get into just everything. And look, semi-final stages, we're jumping onto the desk. Unbelievable quarter-finals, Brandon. Penalties, late goals, but not enough people talking about Schalke. Only team to do it in 2. Somewhat underdogs coming into the tournament and looking potentially to set up another huge fairy tale sort of story for this Schalke side.
Yeah, well, let's talk about this then from the top down. This is Zone 4. This is, of course, Europe in action. You look at the best 4 teams from the Here's Schalke to kick things off, maybe with the first goal in this game. Ronaldo back to R9. Maybe go down for a foul. That one does get waved away in the end. But the interesting point, Rich, all the top 4 teams in the competition left are all from Group 1. AC Monza, Mkers, Astralis and FC Schalke. Those top 4 teams from Group 2, Team Hullet, Genoa, Zeta Gaming, and of course RB Leipzig, all crashing out the tournament. I mean, some would go out on a limb and say Group 1, maybe the stacked group.
Absolutely, the cream really rising to the top. Pele hits the post, first chance of the game, falling to Schalke. This is a side that are not going to go quietly.
I mean, speaking of team makers, just for a very quick second, talk about doing the business over the summer and looking at who they brought in to their team. Ollie Bolly, what did he do? First qualifier in Europe, he went and won it. Alongside that, they picked up Ethan, the UK player, wasn't drafted in for the E-Club World Cup process, but still a fantastic talent. On the flip side, Schalke, they're ever so familiar with the E-Club World Cup. They're involved back in Paris 2019. This time round, 2 new boys on the block, 2 new Germans. You have to be said, have made a name for themselves. Here comes Ronaldo in round the corner for a CR7, just offside. However, 15 minutes gone here, Richard. Chances at either end.
Yeah, I can tell you as well, Astralis against Monza just kicked off 5 minutes into that game. When the goals go in, we'll try and show you all the highlights from both semi-finals playing simultaneously right now.
Comes Mbappe. Team makers have been able to hold their nerve from the spot. If you did catch the quarter-finals, 2 of their 3 games went to the spot as a decider. Principe and Ollie Bolly both experiencing that. It was Ollie Bolly that was able to win his game. Just on the flip side of that, Richard, quickly, Schalke, you mentioned it, they're the only team that did it in 2. They didn't need a 3rd game, did they? They got the job done on the Xbox, they got the job done on the PlayStation, and went, you know what, we're in the semi-finals, we've got nothing to lose it. And if you win this game, you're guaranteed some serious money. Winners of this zone will pick up $27,500. That game, of course, will be coming on Sunday, Zone 4 finals.
Just looking at the personnel used here, this is the most stacked team that we've seen all year long. Restrictions being lifted for this event. Primes, team of the years, icons galore in these squads. Usually, when we're doing Global Series events, Brandon, with the restrictions, there is sort of players that can get manipulated into teams that you wouldn't necessarily have. These are the teams that are the top of the top. These are the upper echelon of Ultimate Team players in game.
Definitely raises the question, Rich, to why some games have been so tight. Yes, you're looking at the best players from each zone in the E-Club World Cup. But you're also looking at just 2 stacked teams where both have the same strengths, both have the same weaknesses, which really isn't any weakness because everybody all over the pitch is just so good.
Elite level of FIFA Ultimate Team players. There's a reason we're not seeing Tavernier, no disrespect. We're not seeing potentially a João Cancelo or even a Rafael Varane. It's the best of the best in-game foot items in these squads. First 30 minutes, all Schalke.
Comes team makers again, still goalless in the Zone 4 semi-finals here. Schalke against team makers. We are on the Xbox. Firstly here, here's R9. I'll work that one round the corner back to Hullet. As we speak right now, that other match between AZ Monza and Astralis is underway. Currently,
it's been a goal.
There has been a goal. We'll jump over to it very, very soon indeed. Must be said, best of 3 these games we played. Here's Mbappe. Chance for Schalke. R9 goes for the cheeky double tap X pass around the corner to try and just about play through Cristiano Ronaldo. It was smart, but defending was even better.
Just saw him playing it out wide there. Kylian Mbappe getting high and wide. for Oli Bolli. The ball's gone to Mbappe a lot, but Alphonso Davies sort of, dare I say, pocketed him in this first 40 minutes. I say that, Mbappe's going to score a worldie. I can audit the ultimate curse of the commentator, but Alphonso Davies certainly having his number in this opening half.
You saw the coin flips at the beginning of the play today. Kicking off on the Xbox, which will mean Xbox first. Over to the PlayStation, where Principe will pick up the reins for Team Makers. And then if we need to, if Oli Bolli potentially needs to, we'll go back to a third game. That will then be played on the console that opened up there. That will do us for half-time in this one. 0-0 so far. A couple of chances to talk about for either team, Rich, but still yet to see a goal in this game. On the other game, there has been a goal, Richard.
There has indeed, and it fell to Astralis. August Rosemeyer taking the lead for this Astralis side. Cristiano Ronaldo. Live gameplay right now from our featured matchup of the semi-final stages between FC Schalke and the Mkers, still tied 0-0.
And it is, of course, Julie of FC Schalke on this Xbox side, currently ranked 69th in those global series rankings. Just to look at his performances so far this season on FIFA 21. Can't imagine how big that first goal will be. It just seems like team makers are loving these tight games. Schalke, in their quarter-final race, did not concede a goal.
Incredible.
As you mentioned, got the job done. One on the Xbox, one on the PlayStation, said, let's just get through to these semi-finals. That win coming against Team Hull, who topped Group 2. They didn't just breeze into the knockouts, they topped the group. And Schalke were the fourth team that did qualify in Group 1, Rich.
This game tied 0-0, but you saw the goal flash come up at the bottom of the screen. Astralis leading 2-0 against Monza eSports. Just saw a tweet from Houston that said, August Rosemeyer, I love you, after that first series in the quarter-final. So certainly Aga, maybe a lot of people sort of critiquing his performance, maybe saying that Houston was the stronger player. When it comes down to it in the quarters and the semi-finals, carrying the load for that Astralis side.
He's R9, chance to break the deadlock. Oli Bolli, as cool as you like. R9 will breeze past the goalkeeper. And finally, the Italian eSports organisation will have a breakthrough in this semi-final.
He had an opportunity in the quarter-finals, did Oli Bolli, with the ball roll past the goalkeeper. Missed it. This time, perfect. And speaking of perfect, maybe not actually. On the rebound, Cristiano Ronaldo.
I mean, Rich,
second time of asking.
You take those in the semi-final. I mean, just a word on that Aggie point. As we know, August Rosemeyer, 2014 FIWC World Champion. He's a PlayStation player by trade. This year, he's gone on to the Xbox. And I think that's why you bring up those questions about Houston. Houston ranks in a very, very strong position in those global series rankings. I mean, he's ranked in an incredible 8th spot. You wouldn't think that it would be Aggie that would be the player pulling him out of the hole, but we are looking at the best of the best players here in Zone 4.
Rankings don't also show tournament experience. They don't show composure in the main areas, in that final third, in the latter stage of competition. Aga, this isn't a new opportunity for him. This is his first rodeo, shall I say. He gets better later in tournaments.
Sorry there, Cruyff just coming in. Looking to bend that in on the finesse on the edge of the box. A method of finishing that we've seen come up time and time again, and there'll be players out there, they'll be like, well, now I've got R9 in my arsenal. I've got all these fantastic players, Team of the Year Ronaldo's, Team of the Year Mbappe's. I'm going to try those finishes from the edge of the box because you don't always expect to concede them or even give your opponent the time, let alone the space, to try and create that chance. Currently 1-0 Oli Bolli does lead. This is the first of the best of 3 in the semi-finals here in Zone 4. Later on this evening, we'll have Zone 5 coming your way. That's South America. Remember, still plenty of action to come over the weekend from Zone 1 all the way through to Zone 6 in the FIFAe Club World Cup. Here's R9. For Oli Bolli does well, drops the shoulder. Still a guessing game of R9. As we always know, that 5-star weak foot causes havoc for any player. It does
Okay.
go down to grounds. Referee says no, Virgil van Dijk did win the ball fair and square. You see that from Ollie Bollyritz. He's not really doing anything special there, is he? He's completely just slowed down the attack of R9 and just waiting and waiting and waiting to see if there was an opportunity to maybe let rip.
There's a lot more going on there than face value. He's cancelling pretty much every single dribbling technique he's doing. You saw the double turn back as well. He cancelled out of that, pressing L2 and R2 together and then taking it on his left foot. Sort of top tier dribbling from Ollie Bolly on show.
That's a massive win of the ball there by Messi. Chance, Cruyff, can he get that back across? It goes in the air. Ronaldo! We know he's got an incredible leap. Well, how about that? I think he outleapt the goalkeeper and the centre back there to ensure that Julia, FC Schalke, will bring them back into the tired leg one.
I'm asking so many questions if I'm Ollie Bolly there. Goalkeeper, what are you playing at? You've got hands, use them. Centre-back, you can't be getting outleapt by Ronaldo in that area. Your goalkeeper has to get that. Edwin van der Sar has to come and claim that. You just have to. There's no excuse.
I mean, speaking of excuses, a player that certainly doesn't have any right now is this man that was down by 2-0. Will be thinking, how have I not scored that? Heroic defending from Astralis there and August Rosemeyer. Talk about last chance saloon. They're at the on the line. Who was that? I think it was a fullback
fighting for the badge right there on the line. Beautiful header as well, clearing it off of the goal line. I mean, that's just what Team of the Year Cristiano Ronaldo can do, though. No other player in the game scores that. I'm going to say that right now. I genuinely don't think any other player scores that header. Ronaldo just is made different.
As you can see on your screen, AC Monza's pressure from Enzarello did finally come off. They have scored a goal. After that goal line clearance from August Rosemeyer, that game's got about 20 minutes left. This one's slightly ahead, so see if we can go and conclude the first leg there. Both of these played on the Xbox the exact same way that the quarter-finals were played for both Mkers, Astralis and Monza.
Mkers love extra time.
They're making it sound like that and seem like that, aren't they? Because every single game they play goes into the extra 30. And I mean, two of them went to a penalty shootout as well. I'm sure all their Italian fans and
just it's tactical. They're just doing it for the screen time. More screen time. More people get to see Mkers.
Interesting fact about Team Mkers, Rich. As we know, they were involved in the last E-Club World Cup in Milan. They actually lost to Complexity in the round of 16. We know what happened there. Complexity went and won the whole thing. So
FIFA 18 as well, I believe. They were in the Club World Cup in Paris. Principe right there. Made a semi-final, losing to Bromby, Euston.
2 years out of the previous 4. They'll be thinking, when we lose, we just lose to champions, so it seems. 3 minutes left here on the Xbox first leg. The format will change as we move into the grand final. It's a best of 5 for all of the zone finals, 1 to 6. Of course, all those finals will be taking place tomorrow and on Sunday. By the end of the weekend, we'll have 6 overall champions, 1 from each zone.
Waiting for a chance.
Maybe a last chance for Ronaldo. For Ollie Bolly. Chance back to goal, just can't turn. Oh, Team Mkers, you're taking us to extra time again.
They love it, and I love it. There's been a big goal in this game. You mentioned it, Brandon. Monza getting one back to half the deficit between Astralis, killing Mbappe with a finesse shot past the goalkeeper. That's currently roughly about 80th minute, I believe, so there's still a little bit of time left to play for Monza to try and force an extra time scenario there. But our featured game going into the additional 30 minutes right now between Schalke and Team Mkers.
Well, just one thing I want to talk about quickly in terms of this format, Rich. You mentioned it off commentary, is that it doesn't matter if you get a 6 or a 7-0 win. Aggie, when he had to go back and save this Astralis team in the quarterfinals, he scraped a 1-0 win in his third and final game. doesn't need to be fancy. It's a case of just win the game, get the job done.
Win's a win at the end of the day. If you're Houston, you're not complaining.
Back on the way for another extra time period, which again involves team makers. Italian eSports organisation absolutely love this competition. Chance for Oli Bolli. Ronaldinho looks to drop the shoulder, does well to delay the chance, does Julie the player. You can just see on your screen now, that's how he got on in the group stage. Did concede more than he scored, but who really cares about the group stage for those right now? They'll be thinking to themselves, we're in the final four. We've done so well. I said it in commentary, I'll say it again. The top 4 teams left in this tournament, in this zone, are all from Group 1. All the teams from Group 2, the top 4 there, they all crashed out the tournament.
The group stage is a distant memory right now for all of these teams. You are laser focused on what is in front of you, and that is a chance to play in your zone final.
The flip side, Oli Bolli, a player that has really been making some noise in the FIFA eSports scene as of late. The Swede, of course, that European qualifier champion back in December after recently moving to Team Makers. 16 points he picked up. He has been the driving force in this Team Makers side alongside Principe, a name that everybody knows. Sort of been the forefront of Team Makers ever since they entered the FIFA landscape. That's probably going to do us for the first 15 minutes here. And still, nothing to separate these two teams, Rich. 15 more minutes. Will there be enough time to play this one, says the ref. Goes for the directional nutmeg there of Cristiano Ronaldo to Julie, and it'll be a case of getting the ball clear by Carlos Alberto. And that will do us for the first 15 in extra time. Still 1-1, Richard, and still a lot of time to play in this.
Now, I can confirm as well, Astralis just picked up a huge 2-1 victory against Monza eSports. That's 3 points on the board. Final whistle just gone. Astralis 1-0 up in that semi-final tie against Monza.
That's an August Rosamite playing some very, very good FIFA again. Had to win 2 out of the 3 games in that previous quarter-final time. And of course, they played against Genoa eSports. It was crafty that Aggie beat 3-2 and then a 1-0 scoreline in that big deciding game. Great day in the 2014 FIFA Interactive World Cup champion, doing enough to give Houston the best possible advantage here. You can see Oli Bolli on your screen now. We'll be kicking from left to right in the red in this second period of extra time. Currently 1-1. Of course, it's not the end of the world if you do lose your opening game, but it certainly takes a huge amount of pressure off your opponent, or your teammates' shoulders, really, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I mean, when you look at Makers as well in that last game, Principe lost that match. So Oli Bolli will be thinking, do everything I can potentially do to set my team up for success and set my teammate up for success. He's playing for the last chance of the game here. You see him just passing it around the back. He's waiting and hoping that the opportunity comes where he can take the last opportunity so Schalke then can't come back from kickoff and potentially score.
As we're playing this best of 3 format, every game has to have a winner. Hence why we are going to the penalties if we need to. At the end of this game, it'll have to be either Schalke or Makers that will have a point by their name. As Richard said, Astralis up with 1 win next to their name. 2-1. Aggie won against Enzarello.
It's a chance.
Late on into the game. Ronaldo around the corner. He's juggling the ball. I don't know why there. Trying to get the right touch on the ball. And again and again and again, Team Makers into another penalty spot shootout. Up steps Schalke first, and it's missed.
Huge save from Petr Cech. It's now going to be a turn of Van der Sar between the sticks. Ronaldinho stepping up to the spot for Makers. Good pen.
Yeah, question marks there for Van der Sar to find the back of the net for Schalke with Cruyff. Miss again.
Huge opportunity for Patrick Vieira to put Makers 2-0 up. Hits the post.
Can't hold his nerve. Astralis, as we said, they are through. Did not need a penalty shootout. First time they've found a chance from the spot. Here's Eusebio now to maybe put the ball in the back of the net. They can't again.
One apiece. Kylian Mbappe stepping up to the spot. Petr Cech in goal. Great save. Now you turn to the team makers, Kylian Mbappe, to do the business from 12 yards, dinked down the middle.
Must score for Schalke. It will all be over. Here's Ronaldo. Cheeky chip, holding the same. And this is the chance to put team makers up with a win next to name. Cristiano Ronaldo. Cheeky Panenka. Ollie Bolly once again will hold his nerve from the spot. And the Swede of the Italian eSports organisation will ensure they go into that PlayStation leg with something behind them now, Richard. I mean, if I'm the owner of Team Makers, I'm thinking, lads, can we not go to another penalty shootout, please?
Unbelievable bottle from Ollie Bolly right there. You see what it means to him. A big vamos from the Swede. Remarkable penalty. To dink it down the middle, it just shows not only how confident you are, but just the bottle. That's the only word for it. To dink it down the middle. If that goes wrong, you've got egg on your face and you see the first results of the semi-finals.
Yeah, there you go. You can see the first results. We've said best of three, still the format in these semi-finals. Astralis up by 2 goals. Well, that was August Rosemeyer beating Enzarello with a very, very good performance. Went to penalties again for Team Makers. Just look at that result before. They had to go to penalties twice in their quarter-final match against Zeta Gaming. I mean, we're going to go and have a look at the Astralis highlights now, Richard. We didn't need penalties there, and I'm happy to say for both AZ Monza and Astralis, they have not needed to go to the spots at all across this knockout stage.
It was August Rosemeyer doing what he does best in big tournaments. Ronaldo making the first goal, and then Cristiano Ronaldo on the rebound. Peter Schmeichel couldn't do enough. It bounced back to CR7. He put Astralis 2-0 up. Monza didn't go quietly though. Cristiano sliding Kylian Mbappe, finesse past the goalkeeper, but that was how it ended. And you see Astralis 2-1 up, means they're 1-0 up in the series. All these second players need to do, Principe and also Houston, is win, and you're in a final.
Yeah, it sounds that easy, Rich, but it really isn't, especially for Houston. It feels like, I don't know about you, he's got something to prove in these semi-finals, because you saw him on social media, as you said, August Rosemeyer, I absolutely love you, because he did save Astralis. He did ensure they stayed in the competition. But this is a rematch. Aggie against Enzarello was a 1-1 draw in the group stage. On the flip side, Kachaya, I believe, won 3-2 against Houston. So, is this going to be revenge finally for Houston? Or on the flip side, is it going to be repeat? For, of course, the Italian player there. I mean, it's all to play for, really, isn't it?
Yeah, everything's to play for. I mean, this is the opportunity that you qualified back in, October, November last year. We've been going for 3-4 months in these qualifiers, opportunity after opportunity, going through the groups, going through the different zones. It's all come down to this. You don't want to go out in a semi-final. No one remembers a semi-finalist. No one even remembers a runner-up, to be honest. It's all about winning the tournament. And these 4 teams right now will think, we've got every opportunity to win this tournament.
Yeah, most definitely. As we said as well, $27,500 will be going to the winners of this tournament. So, you know, so much up for grabs, so much up for stake. We're going to jump into that second matchup now, as we said, over on the PlayStation side now. This is where it gets interesting, because we've got to see the result for AZ Monza, the Serie B side, who have been making some serious noise and some movements in the FIFA eSports scene. Look at both of their players, Richard. They've both had an unbelievable start to the year. 43rd, one sits in the rankings, and the other 13th. I mean, in general, for Italy this year in FIFA, you look at the top, you'd say the top 50 on the PlayStation and the Xbox. There's loads of Italian names that are appearing this year.
Yeah, there's been a very dominant nation, haven't they, Italy? You can see the squads on the screen. That is the squad of Houston. Team of the Year, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Prime R9 up top. Prime Pele, Team of the Year, Mbappe, Bruno Fernandes, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Virgil van Dijk, and also Alphonso Davies. If you're quite new to FIFA Ultimate Team, you're wondering, what's a Team of the Year? Well, they are the best versions of those players available in the game. They cost a lot of FIFA coins to purchase on Ultimate Team. The players have been given those in-game FUT items, so they have the best potential teams in the biggest tournaments. No excuses.
No excuses at all. No catch-up, 98 kicking from left to right in this one. And it will be far to Houston. Astralis is Houston. A man that knows this competition so well. As we know, back in 2018, was the champion out in Paris after, no doubt, one of the best and the most craziest games of FIFA I think anyone would have seen. Him and Fredberg bouncing back against Team Envy over that incredible game. Chance early on, brilliant save.
It was a remarkable comeback for Houston. Found himself numerous goals down. I think it was 4 goals down, 3 goals down, going into a one-legged game of FIFA. Turned it around and sent Envy packing to make Brøndby the back-to-back Club World Cup champions, looking to make it a 2-time champion now is Houston with Astralis.
As we said, AZ Monza must win this game to go to a third and deciding match because they lost their opening one. Enterello of the Serie B Football Club did lose to the hands of the 2014 FIFA World Champion August Rosemeyer. You have to say he's been playing some brilliant FIFA this week so far for Astralis. At the moment it's been all catch up. Eventually now.
It's a great ball.
Houston will get the ball, will get this one round the corners. Ronaldo got the legs on Maldini. Maldini does well. Just to play the ball back to Schmeichel. Speaking of goalkeepers, Richard, there's no restrictions on this. It's all personal preference, but the Danish goalkeeper just seems to keep on getting a nod for a handful of FIFA players.
I mean, we've seen Van der Sar, we've seen Cech, we've also seen Schmeichel, so it's been an icon-dominant goalkeeper position. But not necessarily one player taking the mantle. Great save there. Astralis on the back foot.
He whipped into the box towards the man in there, and he's just squeezed it in. Cristiano Ronaldo will get a catch at 98 underway in this game. A massive goal, Richard, to ensure that AZ Monza will be on the right path to take this into a third game.
Team of the year, Cristiano Ronaldo in the air is a different animal. He is unstoppable at times. You even need to bring the goalkeeper out and hope he can get his hands on it. The only player that can potentially mark him in the air is the defensive work of Team of the Year, Cristiano Ronaldo. You get your defensive Ronaldo, stick him on Ronaldo and hope and pray that he doesn't get the jump on him.
Of course, as we did say, these two did play in the groups. They were in the same group. AZ Monza topped it with 27 points in Zone 4. On the flip side, as we know, it was a third place finish for Astralis. However, when these two played against each other in that exact group game, it was a 3-2 win for Catcher. Currently 1-0 down and on the same path to make it repeated result and not revenge. Here comes Houston now. Mbappe into the feet of Ronaldo, waits on the ball and squeezes it into the back of the net to ensure all back square with 25 minutes played in this one.
Well worked from Houston around the edge of the box, kept his calm in the final third as well. He took that extra touch just to settle himself with Ronaldo before striking past the goalkeeper into that bottom left corner. And Monza and Astralis now tied level. Tell you, Schalke and also Mkers are underway in our second semi-final as well.
Maybe a long ball forward. That one goes out for a goal kick in the end. As you said, in the next hour we'll know who will be the top two teams from Zone 4. Who will be in that grand final that happens on Sunday. And one team will walk away with $27,500 and that crown as the Zone 4 champions. After, you'd say, weeks and months of preparation and qualifiers. Keep you updated, as you said, Rich, in that other game. Oli Bolly scraped a penalty win in leg one. Now it's Principe's opportunity to finish the job and get them into another sort of latter stage of this tour will be the first ever time they've been in a grand final in the E-Club World Cup, made it to the semis, as you said, back in the competition many years ago. It's the same year that Houston actually won that tournament, wasn't it?
Yep, absolutely, knocking Mkers out in the semi-final. Shaking the head there from Catcher, clearly not happy with what he's seeing from himself right now in this semi-final. Just to keep you up to date, Monza have to win this game. If Astralis win this leg of FIFA, they will be in the grand final here in Zone 4.
I mean, you question where the teammates are for both of these two. How they are feeling. Being so close to a grand final spot. 42 teams qualified for the FIFAe Club World Cup. 14 of those were from Zone 4. Across these two games, we're looking at the top 4 from that list of 14. All the names that were in Group 1, as I keep on talking about. They only lost one game, AC Monza. No doubt that man, the left top corner of your screen. Catcher 98, he's been one of the most consistent players in this Zone 4.
Not only in Zone 4, but just across FIFA altogether this year, Brandon. In the Global Series as well. He's had a very good run. He's playing some really good FIFA, hoping to sort of culminate that season-long run that he's had here at the Club World Cup. You see a little bit of advice there for Houston. Half-time in our other semi-final match between Schalke and Mkers. Been a few goals in that game. We'll show you them goals very shortly indeed. Well, you said you wanted goals. Here they are, Brandon.
Yeah,
Team Mkers Principe scoring the first one. Cristiano Ronaldo on his left foot. And he doubled his lead 6 minutes later. Eusebio down the right-hand side into CR7, who rifles the ball past the goalkeeper into the bottom left corner.
Yeah, there was a goal back on the flip side, wasn't it, for JH7 to just restore a bit of hope. And that is, again, a rematch. JH7 won 4-3 when these two did match in the group stage. So Principe, one, hoping to get revenge, Richard, but two, does not want to go to extra time. And you can understand why. They keep going to extra time, this Team Mkers side. So close. The Italian eSports organisation are away from a grand final spot in Zone 4. We could be looking at two Italian clubs, Rich, in the grand final in Zone 4 if this AC Monza side was to, turn it around, go to a third leg and to make that happen.
Well, it's a big if as well, because they have to turn around the scoreline that they've faced themselves in. You can see, quick update as it stands right now. Team Mkers will be going through to the grand final if Principe can hold out this result. 2-1 up against FC Schalke. Monza and Astralis drawing 1 apiece. If Houston turns this game around and gets a win here, he will be going through to the grand final.
Here we go then. Second half of action underway. Cheeky little rainbow flick there from R9. Pressure from the word go. You wonder what words of wisdom were said to Houston at the half-time interval. As we said, he's a previous FIFAe World Cup champion, back with Bromby 2018. If you're a FIFA eSports veteran or a huge fan of this competition, great to see that years on he's continued to develop as a player, and he's back again, Rich, for the 5th time this competition's run.
He's just got better and better year in, year out, Houston, and I think we're seeing sort of the finalised product from him right now as well. He looks healthy, mentally, physically. He's also playing some of the best FIFA that he's ever played. He's typically been regarded as an attacking player, but it looks like a well-rounded product right now, defensively as well. Looks very solid.
Catcher coming forward with Bruno Fernandes, a man that I know you can echo about, Richard. He's been in your ultimate team. You even packed him somehow. I mean, I'm still furious about that, but certainly a player that the pros are loving because he's just so good, isn't he, the Portuguese midfielder?
The best centre mid on the game, in my personal opinion. A lot of pros echo the same sentiment as well. The team there, Bruno Fernandes, he can do everything and more. Attack, defend. He's physical, he can pass, he can dribble, set piece if you need it. He is as close to a perfect centre mid as there is.
Catcher. Someone else who's superb is that Mbappe. That'll be team of the year Mbappe. These guys on their own. eSports edition of the game accounts where they can use the best players in the game. Brilliant ball, brilliant idea from the man we were just talking about there, Bruno Fernandes, trying to just poke that pass into the feet of the Parisian forward of Mbappe. You speak about how closely contested this game is, Richard. If you look to the Global Series rankings and outside of other tournaments that have happened this year, it's 8th against 13th on those PlayStation rankings. So, I mean, that's how tight this game is. Here's Ouston. Finds the feet of Pele. Can he find the shot? Goes for the finesse. Brilliant chance. Back to Ronaldo. And it's going to be one of the easiest goals that Ouston would have scored throughout this whole week's process of the E-Club World Cup. But who really cares? As long as that ball's in the back of the net, Richard, and his team in Astralis are on their way through, that is all that matters.
He opened up the space, hit the finesse shot. But then Cristiano Ronaldo, the ultimate finisher, found himself in the right place at the right time, just to poke into an empty net to put Ouston and Astralis 20 minutes away from being in a grand final. Wow.
Aggie won game one on the Xbox. Ouston 25 minutes away from sending the Danish eSports organisation in Astralis into their first ever FIFA E Club World Cup grand final in Zone 4. Which will guarantee them $12,500 in the process. Not too bad. 20 minutes left for this man. A catcher to find a reply. He's been so good throughout this whole tournament process. Gets the ball into Ronaldo. That one's headed away by Maldini. Says no thank you.
And now for Ouston, it's about the game management. Do you go for a third goal, try and kill the game off? Do you look for a little bit of possession potentially?
Ronaldo towards the back post. It will just about be cleared away by Virgil van Dijk. Whipped in towards the box. Whipped in towards the space. And it will be that man again. Cristiano Ronaldo maybe just about, Richard, putting this game to bed and ensuring that Ouston will be back in another grand final in the E-Club World Cup.
Team of the year, Cristiano Ronaldo is the MVP. That is it. He is incredible. In the air, on the fleet. He does whatever he wants. He just bullies that penalty area. You put the ball into the box for him, in and around his vicinity. Incredible.
As I said, these two, when they played in the group, Catcher won 3-2. That would have been playing in Ouston's mind. Also, what would have been playing in Ouston's mind is that last game in the quarterfinals where he felt hard done by. He would have wanted to put it right this time. And at the moment, for him, touch wood, Rich, he's 15 minutes away from ensuring that he has done exactly that, if not more. Brilliant ball. Messi on the finesse, just about tucks it in on that 4-star weak foot. It doesn't matter. It's 98 team of the year Messi, and I mean, it's game on.
Game on, and you saw the reaction from Monza as well. Absolutely zero. He's got a job to do right now. Skip the replay. Because the game is not over yet, and 12 minutes in FIFA can feel like a lifetime.
I mean, it's so big that he got it before the 80th minute. Pause coming in. I can only think that is a catcher there. Looking to maybe go through at the back and plot everybody forward. Here's Mbappe. Goes for
corner.
A goal kick, I think, in the end, Rich. We'll go into the team management now. Talk me through this. This is AZ Monza.
We're seeing a 5-2-1-2 right there with Mbappe and Davis as the wing-backs. I wouldn't be surprised to see attacking options coming on. He's looking at Ronaldinho. He's also looking at in-form Neymar coming on at cam. I think that's the only change he's making. Still sticking in the 5-2-1-2. He's catcher. Constant pressure and all the tactics sort of ramped up to the top right now. Do-or-die scenario for the Italian.
This could be the end of the road, couldn't it? Simple as that. You lose this, you're out the tour, and all that hard work that you've you've had from top in the group. 27 points clear they were, one of the highest goal-scoring teams in the competition, netted 33. I mean, as we said, it can sound harsh, but group stage doesn't matter. It's knockout football.
You just have to get through the groups. Doesn't matter if you finish first or fourth, you just got to get through. You play your FIFA here. This is where the big dogs come to play.
Here comes Neymar on for Pele. Cruyff and Mbappe on the flip side for Houston and Astralis, who we have to say are 9 minutes away. That's all they are, 9 minutes away. I can see Richie with his hands over his head next to me. We'll update you to why that is.
There has just been a seismic shift between Mkers and Schalke because we're going to extra time again. 2 apiece between those two. We'll show you the goal just after this attack from Monza.
Surely not. Here's Neymar fresh off the bench, well defended by Vieira. I mean, Principe, he was 2-0 up in that game. J87 of FC Schalke takes us to extra time, as you've just said. We'll go and follow that game as soon as we have an update, but this one might still go to extra time unless this game gets put to bed. Here's Ronaldo. He's got a 9 in the box to send Astralis into a grand final. I like that from Houston. There's no need to attack. Keep the possession. See that clock run down. And that's the mature side of any FIFA player coming out there. He does give the ball away somehow.
He burnt about 3 minutes on the clock, though. Monza will get one more roll of the dice.
There's loads of space on that right-hand side for Mbappe. Maybe a chance around the corner. Late-minute drama here at Hullet. Back to Neymar, just can't squeeze it through. Get the ball clear, and it will be another grand final.
Still got time. If he goes forward, he will have time.
Or is it the curse of the commentator? Striking, Neymar.
That's
well defended, just threw his body out. Van Dijk still just about doing something.
As long as the ball doesn't go backwards, the referee will play it on.
Building and hoping. There's every single AC Monza fan right now. Messi, back to goal. Just get the ball clear. It's next to leg in. And that will be job done. Astralis book a spot in the grand final. The duo of the 2014 World Champion and the 2018 FIFA E Club World Cup champion in Astralis will just about get the job done. You can see Astralis' very own Houston in the camera there. They just about got that done. Rich, talk me through this, because there was a last-minute goal, wasn't there?
This was the goal that set up extra time. Unbelievable mistake at the back. Passing the ball to him in the 90th minute. And you look at Principe's reaction, he wonders what just happened. And this is the live shots from this game. 2 apiece. Mkers going potentially to another penalty shootout, but there's still time to play.
Well, that chance hit both posts and then fell to the feet of the Argentine in the box, Lionel Messi. What a game. Again, we'll update you one more time. Astralis are in the grand final for Zone 4 here in the FIFA E Club World Cup. Aggie won his game, and Houston ensured it was job done for the Danes. And wow, what a duo that has been, Rich. They face a lot of adversity throughout this qualifying process, but as you said, knockout football, it's all about when the big boys come out to play, when those players with all that experience come out to play. And again, congratulations to Astralis.
And fair play to Agger as well, because a lot of question marks around his performance coming into this tournament, coming into the live broadcast, coming into the quarterfinals, and he has been superb for Astralis.
Here we go, we've got the game live here, both players on the face cams here. 2-2. Schalke have to win to go to a third matchup. If Mkers win in extra time, it will be Team Mkers against Astralis as your Zone 4 grand final. And who else would it be, Richard, to get the job done for Team Mkers? Then the face of Team Mkers, Principe. You look at players that have had long spells at eSports organisations. He's got to be up there as the players have the longest spell at an eSports organisation. Here he comes now, Carlos Alberto, all the way from fullback.
He is Mr. Mkers, isn't he, Principe? Here
he comes again. Alberto all the way from fullback. One more time. Ooh. Goes on his own. Brilliant save and just about cleared. Now for half-time and extra time.
Wouldn't necessarily look for a shot there, Carlos Alberto, but he got up into the attack, stung the hands of the goalkeeper. You see the stats at half-time. between Principe and JH7. 90th minute equaliser for Schalke to send us into extra time. After trailing 2-0 as well.
We'll update you again on the bracket. Astralis are waiting those, or one name I should say. It will be FC Schalke or Team Makers for a spot in the grand final, where $27,500 will go to one of those winning teams come Sunday afternoon. I mean, Principe right now, Rich, is probably thinking back to that chance that he conceded 90th minute. He did concede. Schalke snatching a late goal to take us into extra time. And then Carlos Alberto, you're just thinking, why of all players is it you in the box?
Out of everybody, why? Why Carlos Alberto up inside the opponent's penalty area? If you are just joining us, you can have a look at the goal that put Astralis into sort of a pretty nervy predicament right there. That was 3-2, but winning scenes right there from Houston and Team Astralis.
It all smiles for that Denmark duo. In August Rosemeyer went over to the Xbox this year to play in this tournament in the Club World Cup. Houston getting the job done against one of the most consistent players. Commiserations to AC Monza. They had a fantastic tournament. Still should be so proud of a top 4 finish. Unfortunately, just didn't have enough left in the tank to send them into this grand final. Here's Principe with Bruno Fernandes, who's doing so well just to keep the ball at his feet, to try and find a way around the corner. Slightly too heavy. Falls back to Edwin van der Sar there. 10 minutes left, Richard.
We just saw at half-time as well, the Schalke POV in regards to the tactics. Quite defensive-minded tactics. He took the corners and the free kicks all the way down. Didn't really want that many bodies going forward either.
Pele, look at the space he's got to run into. Can he find a cutback? Just delayed and delayed. Still Pele, twisting, turning. The Brazilian goes on his own. Heel to heel into the back of the net. And just like that, the tables are turned. And it will be Schalke that are minutes away from sending us into a Game 3.
What a turnaround. Unbelievable composure from Pele inside the box. The heel-to-heel after turning back down the line was superb from JH7. And Makers just cannot do anything the easy way. After being 2-0 up, Principe now trailing 3-2 with around 7 minutes left to play.
Well, I hate to keep going back to what's happened in the groups, but when these two did play, it's 4-3. JH7 did just about snatch the game, so we know it was always going to be a close one. We knew it was going to be a tight one. The finest of margins, and I think when you're looking at the players that are being used here, Rich, the prime Pelés, the prime R9s, the team of the years, sometimes it's a solo show from one of those players, where they have to show all of their capabilities as a player. The weak foots, the skill moves. Look no further than that goal from Pele.
Remarkable from JH7. 5 minutes left to play. Principe has to do something, and he has to do it now.
5 minutes left for Principe to find an equaliser and to take us to another penalty shootout, maybe. If not, it'll be sort of deja vu from the quarter-finals what happened. Team Makers had to go to a third game against Zeta Gaming, where Oli Bolly put Makers into this semi-final spot. Will it be the Swedes' job again? Neymar, brilliant directional nutmeg. Here's Neymar still, and we will potentially be going to a penalty shootout. Brilliant in the box from Neymar. The directional nutmeg, and then the ball roll that ensured it was going to be a guaranteed goal for Principe.
No emotion from Principe at all. Stone-faced from the Italian. He knows that this game was in his hands, that a grand final was in his hands, and he let it slip. And now they're going back to a dreaded penalty shootout.
I mean, what a way this could be for Team Makers to maybe put themselves into a grand final. Here's JH7. Does well. Mbappe still dancing in the box. And we're going to another penalty shootout. Win this, Team Makers, you're in a grand final. Up steps JH7 first with Messi, who will miss.
It's going to be Neymar stepping up to the spot for Principe. Oh, he's put it wide!
I don't know what it is from the spot. Misses. Second penalty now for Team Ullet, and JH will score.
Solid penalty as well. Joshua Kimmich stepping up to the spot for Principe, straight down the middle.
Yeah, so far all square. One miss, one scored. Carlos Alberto now for JH7. He's missed.
Chance for Principe to get back in front with Patrick Vieira down the middle. Great save from the feet.
Save with the knees of Van der Sar. He's R9. Surely the man that will score from the spot will score.
Principe has to score. Cristiano Ronaldo dinks it down the middle.
Loving these Panencas, aren't they, in the E-Club World Cup? Mbappe, someone else should back to score from the spot. To maybe score, he'll miss. And a chance to send Mkers into a grand final. Bruno Fernandes, of all people, to step up. Can he do it? No, he's missed.
And he greened it. Cristiano Ronaldo stepping up now for JH7. Puts it to the right. Keeper dives past it. And it's going to be Ruud Gullit. Must score penalty for Principe. Does score.
And we continue again in sudden death. Pele, who stole the show of that goal earlier, will keep his calm from the spot. Must score Alphonso Davies. Will he score? No, it's missed. We're into a third game between Schalke and Team Mkers. The drama continues from the spot for Team Mkers. That's 4 penalty shootouts across this semi-final and their quarter-final games, Richard. And both times, Principe has not been able to hold his nerve from the spot.
Principe can't buy a win right now. 2 games, 2 defeats. Remarkable scenes. He's gone. He needs some fresh air, does Principe. He was straight out of that chair because he is in the hot seat right now. And if I'm Ollie Bolly, I'm having words with Principe as well. Can we put some penalties away, please?
I mean, we're talking about tie games. Look at that on your screen. Penalty shootout and another penalty shootout. They love... I mean, I say they love it from the spot. They really don't, but it just seems like they keep going there. Astralis in the grand final. And as we said, we'll have that next game for you as soon as we can. I'm sure we'll have some highlights of that last matchup. Incredible stuff. Again, we'll talk about that Astralis result because they have done enough. They will be in the grand final. That's taking place on Sunday. Look back at some of the big moments in that game, Richard, because it was all about Houston ensuring that he was playing good FIFA, and that's what he was able to do.
It was indeed. This was from the first leg. August Rosemeyer going 2-0 up. Cristiano Ronaldo. This was the Xbox leg, the first leg in this series. It only took 2 legs for Astralis to book their place in the grand final. Monza eSports did get back into the tie through Kylian Mbappe with a beautiful finesse shot, but Aga saw the game out. Here we are into the second leg right now. They went onto the back foot, did Astralis. Great header from Ronaldo, but showed real good composure, did Houston, to get back into the tie through Kylian Mbappe, playing into Cristiano Ronaldo. Just stopped for a second, waited for the defender to move, and put it in that bottom left-hand corner. And even though he scored, it was a grimace from Houston. And that was the goal to send him into the winning position for Astralis' Houston. And from then on, really didn't look back, did the Dane?
No, he didn't, did he? I mean, again, brilliant performance. We've still got a couple of highlights from that game. That was the goal that put the nail in the coffin and said, yep, we're in a grand final. As you said, that 2018 winner of the E-Club World Cup in another final. There was late hope, in the form of that right foot finesse from Messi. Not many players take that. You know, it's a 4-star week, but it is a 98 team with Ian Messi. There was a couple of late chances. We played 4 minutes in the end of added time. But there you go. You can see those moments, of course, disappointment for catcher of AC Monza. And on the flip side, celebrations all round in the camp of Astralis. They are in a grand final, but still, we're waiting to find out who will be joining them in Zone 4. Is it Schalke? Is it Mkers? Or Rich, should I just say, is it going to be another penalty shootout?
I mean, that's the question that we're waiting to be answered. Who's going to be joining Astralis as the top 2 from Zone 4? August Rosemeyer and Fafi Houston are there waiting as part of Team Astralis. But will it be Schalke? Or will it be Mkers? That is the question that we're about to answer. And we're going back to the first leg that we saw in this series between Jule and Ollie Bolly. Ollie Bolly was victorious in that game. Will Schalke turn this tie completely around and go through? Or will it be Oliboli and Principe taking on Astralis?
I mean, the best thing of all, Rich, is that when these matches happen in their finals, they're best of fives.
Oh.
Can you imagine? Five penalty shootouts. Could you imagine that? That is going to be an incredible grand final, whoever makes it into that stage. Here's the team of Oliboli. Rich, talk me through it briefly.
You see Prime Petacek in goal, and that was about all I saw. I think I saw a team of Virgil van Dijk as well at the back. But a remarkable team, nonetheless, for Oliboli. All the players with the prime icons and the team of the years in their squad. But it's been the Cristiano Ronaldo show, let's be honest. He has been unbelievable in the ties that we've seen in the quarterfinals, in the semi-finals, carrying the load in the attacking third for a number of these squads.
Well, this is the point I want to talk about, Rich, because Oliboli has already got Schalke's 04 Julie's number on 2 occasions already. He beat him 3-1 in the group stages, beat him on a penalty shootout about, 30 minutes ago. How does Julie get into the right frame of mind to say, you know what, I am going to eventually try and take down this man now?
Do or die scenario. You have to flourish if you are Julie right now. Doesn't matter if you've lost previously, you just make sure that you win now. And that is all that matters.
Of course, there will be makers from right to left in this deciding game. On the flip side, Schalke's Julie from left to right. Whoever wins this goes into the grand final of Zone 4 for the FIFAe Club World Cup. Of course, this is the European zone. Following this tonight will be even more knockout football from Zone 5, where South America will come out to play. Well, there'll be even more late drama, I can assure you. Here comes Oliboli. First chance of the game. Half a drag back there from Cristiano Ronaldo. Still just about in possession. Tries to ball right his way past Virgil van Dijk. Wins a corner. Happy to play that one short. All the way back to Maldini and round the corner to Alberto. Can R9 do well? He does very well. Even better save from Van der Sar.
Van der Sar putting to work early doors here by Oliboli. Cross whipped into the box. Header just glanced wide of the post. 3 back-to-back chances for Oliboli.
He knows it as well. He just saw the reaction as that header just went wide. What a chance it was for Oliboli to take the lead. You've missed the first 2 games between these two. Penalty shootout win for Oliboli on the Xbox. Penalty shootout defeat for team makers Principe just literally happened about 5 minutes ago, where we saw JH7 hold his nerve from the spot. It certainly hasn't been as routine as their quarter-final performance for Schalke, has it, Rich? Because they won it. They won in 2, didn't they?
It was comfortable, in all honesty, in the quarter-finals. It's been anything but comfortable. It's been quite sort of disruptive, if anything, in the semi-finals for Schalke.
At the moment, all Oliboli sort of starving Julie of the ball. Mbappe still goes for the directional nutmeg, can't get enough space or room around that team of the year. Virgil van Dijk. If you want to wear this year, the E-Club World Cup split across 6 different zones, so we'll have 6 different winners from the end of play on Sunday. This has been a 5-day competition running from the 24th of this month. And it will continue to run until we get all of those winners from the 6 zones. Pele for Judy, one of his first chances of the game. Might end up to be a goal. It will be. Some would say against the run of play, but Pele will run away in celebration. 25 minutes on the clock. Schalke have got the all-important lead in this one.
And for 23 minutes, it was one-way traffic, and that was towards Julie's goal. One opportunity coming his way for Schalke, and he smashed it into the back of the net from Pele. That's exactly what you need to do. If you are Julie, you've played against Oliboli before. He's beat you a couple of times. In the game where it matters, you have to take him off the pedestal. You have to say it's just another player at face value.
You have to make him feel uncomfortable. Make him come out, as you said, and play. Disrupt his team, his formation. Whatever tactics that he would have wanted to follow. He's a successful player, Oliboli. If you missed qualifier number 1 in the Global Series, he won that. First outing for team makers, and he was a PlayStation winner.
And who did he beat? Houston. Seen them both in this tournament.
I'm going to say, fortunate enough, they won't have to play against each other this time round, will they, in the grand final, if Team Makers were to win. At the moment, Schalke are going into that grand final. Free kick, 28 metres out here. Played short. Coming together between Ronaldo and Mbappe there meant that the ball would be dispossessed. Full back to the white shirt of Schalke at the moment in the driving seat. Julie can say he is, after suffering quite a few moments of pressure in the first 25 minutes or so, able to go down the other end with his only chance of the game. That's all that matters. You find the back of the net. The scoreline will say the rest for you.
Could be a chance.
Wanted to try and tease that run. We know how strong through balls are this year, if you can time them right. Back to Julie, it will go again. It's Pele that gave him the only goal in this game. It should have been two, you would like to say. Petr Cech being the man to stand in the way and to say no, no, no.
I think he actually had more time than he thought he did as well there on that strike. Petr Cech standing up to it. But an extra touch I don't think would have gone amiss in the attacking third.
I mean, hindsight's a beautiful thing, but there was certainly someone else in that box that Mbappe maybe could have looked to play to. Again, it was one of those, it's just so quick, and I mean, it's Mbappe in that sort of area, 90-plus striker, a team of the year version of the PSG forward. You expect him to hold his nerve in that area. Brilliant save by Petr Cech to ensure the Makers don't go into the break 2 goals down. Yet to beat Oli Bolli is Julie. They've played 2 times already. One time it was in the group stage where Oli won 3-1. They played earlier in this series of games, which finished in a penalty shootout, half-time in this game. And at the moment, Schalke are on their way through.
They are indeed 45 minutes away from setting up a Schalke and Astralis grand final. Team Makers, and in particular Oli Bolli, got a lot to do in this second half. They want to turn this game around. He had a couple of chances in the first sort of 25 minutes. This is the goal that separates the two sides. You see Pele capitalising on sort of a bobbling ball inside the box. And that is the picture as it stands. Astralis waiting in the grand final, and Schalke, with 45 minutes left to play, will be going through. But 45 minutes in FIFA, about 6 days, what it feels like, if you're the winning player and you're trying to hold on to a lead.
It does feel like a long time, doesn't it? We saw how long 10 minutes felt like, let alone 45 minutes, as you said. That's what they're playing for. The chance to play against Astralis in the grand final, which again would be a rematch because the top 4 teams were all from Group 1 in this zone. Chance round the corner. Oh, there's a goal. I thought for a split second Ronaldo might have just put that over the bar, but then it hit me. Oh no, that's team of the year Cristiano Ronaldo. Finds the roof of the net, and more importantly, finds a way back into this tie for Team Makers. That's only taken 5 minutes, Rich, to bring this game all square.
We were asking for an answer, and boy did we get an answer. In the form of Team of the Year CR7, Oli Bolli smashing the ball into that top left corner. Huge goal to potentially set Team Makers up for the rest of this tie right now. Schalke need to sort of show that composure and show the calmness that they did in the quarterfinals. He's definitely been on the back foot, has Julie, in this tie.
He was hanging on to that 1-goal lead from that Pele goal. We said it was against the run of play, and you can back that up from the half-time match stats. Now it's back to the drawing board again. 1-1 the scoreline here. Winner goes into the Zone 4 grand final. Patient in the build-up of Bruno Fernandes. The only goal scorer for him, Pele. looking to be the magician. It feels like R9's been pushed out wide in this sort of lineup that he's gone for. Pele more down the centre. Wants to come in now. Whip deep into the box. We know Ronaldo can leap in the air. He gets pushed back into the path of Bruno Fernandes, who just says, get that ball clear.
If in doubt, get it out. No nonsense policy from Bruno Fernandes.
Could be another chance. Ronaldo's in the box. That's team of the year. He's got so many headers. Can he turn his man? He's got Maldini offering pressure. Back to R9. Twisting, turning. R9!
What a goal from Julie right there. He's not had a lot of the ball, but when he has made it count. Beautiful dribbling. Turned one way, and then that fake shot just to accelerate away from the defender. And an emphatic finish into the bottom right corner.
It sort of becomes a game of a guessing game, really, isn't it? On the edge of the box there. Which way is he going? He's got a 5-star week, but this isn't any type of player. This is prime R9, who apparently he's done enough, Rich. He's just been subbed off. Looking at a new face, or two of them, in Messi team of the year, and Cruyff to come on to the fray of things in this last, 28 minutes or so in the game. R9 though, Rich, that's it's into the showers for him.
Not a bad double sub, is it, either? Bringing on prime Cruyff and team of the year Lionel Messi. I think also you're freshening up out wide as that right cam area with Messi coming on. If you are leading, 15, 20 minutes left to go, you can say, come back on defence. Make sure you're dropping back in. You're seeing in quite a deep position already there, helping out the fullbacks as they're going to bomb home, and you want that extra support out wide from your attacking wide mids.
R9. Mbappe will try and fake shot his way past Virgil van Dijk. The Dutch defender will stand strong.
It's a mistake.
Ronaldo, can he find Mbappe? Chance for Oli Bolli. Again, drops the shoulder, finds the back of the net. And once again, we're all square.
Very smart finish from Kylian Mbappe. Very similar to what he did with Ronaldo, Julie, at one end. Fake to go on one way, then that quick acceleration off to the left. Smash past the goalkeeper into that near post area. Every time Julie's gone ahead in the tie, Oli Bolli has answered back very, very quickly.
Still, nothing to separate these two teams. Surely not a third selection of extra time. We're on our way there. That's how competitive and good these teams have been. Both got even teams. They've got exactly the same players within their choosing. It's just been so good. Chance. Oli Bolli to take the lead in this game. Goes down to ground. Julie dives into the tackle. And that could be the difference between these two teams. I mean, he's got to hold his nerve from the spot again. I mean, it seems like penalties and Makers go hand in hand. Here comes Cristiano Ronaldo for Oli Bolli. Can he hold his nerve from the spot? Steps up, will score.
Great finish as well from the penalty spot. Got to say, Maldini is having an absolute shocker today. He must have gave away 3-4 penalties. And it's all been sort of the players accelerated past them, whether that be from a directional nutmeg or a bridge touch. And he's just not quick enough off the mark. As crazy as that sounds, prime Maldini isn't quick enough. Where is Kyle Walker? Get him at centre-back. That doesn't happen if that's in from Kyle Walker.
Well, you heard it from that man, Richard Buckley. Let's see if anyone listens as we move across the different zones this weekend. Someone that has been superb is Cristiano Ronaldo, team of the year. Holds his nerve from the spot. That's the first time that Oli Bolli has led in this game. Can he hold on? As we said, he's already beaten this player 2 times already. Once in the group stages and in the first game of this best of 3.
Is it again?
He could be on his way to a win here. Ronaldinho, acres of space, Pele's in the box, Ronaldinho on his own, saved onto the bar, Pele at the back post, Alphonso Davies leaps above the rest.
What a save from the goalkeeper, tipping it onto the post from Ronaldinho's strike. Potentially saving the tie for Schalke.
Surely not. Goal kick, very harsh there. And looked to be from the referee. Into the pause menu we'll go now. We're looking at Schalke's POV. Coming in the 4-2-3-1. Time for a game plan change, no doubt.
It's quite an aggressive change made right here. Where you put the custom tactics being swapped as well. Long ball and also the depth and the width being flied up to the top end of the tactics that you can use. 9 minutes remaining. Schalke must score to save their FIFAe Club World Cup.
As difficult it is right now for Julie, he's got to think to himself, I've already scored 2 goals against this player. I was leading on 2 different occasions. I have to win to send my team into the grand final. Those second chances now. Team Mkers 6 minutes away from a grand final against Astralis. Maybe not just yet.
Incredible. Julie showing so much resiliency. We thought he could only lead in games. Ollie Bolly got it back. He took back the lead. And Julie, never say die attitude. 3 apiece with 5 minutes remaining. Mkers cannot get away from extra time.
Well, they're on their way there again. Unless there is more drama. There'll be one more chance, we can assure you of that. It's just the question of who that falls to. At the moment, it looks like it's going to be Ollie Bolly to build into the final chance of the game. That is what he's waiting for. And no doubt this will be the biggest goal that he would have scored in this whole competition.
This is his moment.
Will he even get it? It's added time of 2 minutes. Enough time to win the ball back. Ronaldinho does well. Can he get the ball? Oh, that's an awful pass.
Counter?
I don't think there'll be enough time.
No.
Wins the ball back. No. Plays one more tap. Maybe no. He clears it out of play. Team Mkers, 3 games, 3 extra time periods. I mean, same for Schalke, no doubt. We need 30 more minutes. 50-50 on the possession. A game that brought us everything. Penalties, late goals, and a couple of brilliant finishes as well, we must say, from those 2 players. The question still remains, Richard, who will play Astralis in the grand final in Zone 4?
Nobody wants to play Astralis, apparently, because neither team can get a win. Remarkable scenes from Schalke and Mkers, the tightest of affairs. It's been a game riddled with chances and penalties and great dribbling, but only one team can play Astralis in our Zone 4 grand final. Will it be Schalke or will it be Astralis? In the next 30 minutes, we will find out.
30 more minutes. We have just tuned in. This is the FIFAe Club World Cup Zone 4 knockout stages. We are playing up to the grand final tonight, when that match will then be unfolded on Sunday. This game, as we said, is a best of 3. 2 times already. We've gone to penalties. Ollie Bolly for Team Mkers won the penalty shootout first time round against Julie in match 1. Match number 2 on the flip side. Principe couldn't keep his nerve from the spot. It was GH7 of Schalke that won that game. 3rd time round, we're in extra time again. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if we went to another penalty shootout. Here's Schalke building into their first chance in this 30-minute period. After a late goal from Cristiano Ronaldo. Remember, it's this double change that has been made for Julie. He's got Messi on the field, he's got Cruyff on the field. Here's Messi on that left foot.
inches over the crossbar right there for FC Schalke. 5 of the 6 legs that Mkers have played gone to penalties. That is ridiculous when you consider it.
If they weren't to win this, there would be nightmares going on for a while. The way for their 2 players. Well. 2 minutes left before half-time in extra time. 3-3 the scoreline. Still all to play for. Best chance in extra time falling to Julie on that wand, as we often call it, from Lionel Messi. Tried to just finesse it into the top corner. Was just over the bar. That's a poor pass at the back. Lucky that Maldini will just about clean that one up. Last chance. Brilliant directional nutmeg. Mbappe got space to move into, then goes for a right foot finesse. It was asking questions of the defence. Virgil van Dijk able to match that with a block. 15 minutes played, still all square.
Not only asking questions of the defence, but when you're taking a shot like that on, a little bit desperate for me. You often see players try and work that position a little bit better. It seemed the chance of that going in, ball roll scoop turn, you're on quite a tight angle. Maybe 1 in 5, 2 in 10 that goes in. It's not a high percentage chance of scoring. And something that you don't really consider Oli Bolly to be doing a lot. Usually a place for high percentage chances is known for being very, not only composed in the final third, but clinical as well.
That's why he's ranked 3rd, isn't he? On those PlayStation rankings. Yes, he's on the Xbox for this tournament, but can't look past how good he has been in the last 12 months. It was enough to ensure he got the interest from the Italian side in Team Mkers. Of course, they also did pick up Jesus, another Italian player that's just jumped onto the scene. Expect to see him in a Team Mkers shirt next year round in the Club World Cup. They'll be fine for Principe spot.
Lots of competition at Team Mkers for those spots.
8 minutes away. Winner plays Astralis in the Zone 4 Grand Final. The top 2 teams, after weeks upon months of online qualifiers, different conferences, a number of different challenges along the way. 1 goal would certainly win it. Is it going to be Oli Bolly? Bruno Fernandes, Pele just offside, back to Mbappe, well defended by Virgil van Dijk. Because in moments like that, Rich, you have to be so sure. Chance still alive. Recycles it well between his 2 CDMs. In Vieira and Bruno Fernandes, waiting again patiently for that chance to get the ball into the feet of Ronaldo or Mbappe. Where will the chance come? Surely. Oh, another penalty shootout. It looks like it is honestly going to be. Unless
he's waiting.
Oli Bolly can create a piece of magic. We're into added time of a minute now. Now or never. Ronaldinho. Back to Vieira. Watch that one of Ronaldo. He can just about find it. Bruno Fernandes. Still.
Chance.
Still. Bruno Fernandes. Around the goalkeeper. Brilliant save. It's still in the air. And it is going to be a penalty shootout for a 3rd time in a row. That reaction from Oli Bolly tells you the story of this semi-final. Head in hands moment. Get your head up. You've got to save this penalty. Up steps Messi first. He'll score for Schalke.
Good penalty slotted into the bottom corner. Ronaldinho stepping up to the spot. Puts it to the left. Good penalty.
Yeah, 1-1. 2 strong penalty to start with. Here's Julie with Cruyff, one of his super subs. Can he be super from the spot? Cheeky Penenka. Why not?
Very composed. Thinking it down the middle. Patrick Vieira stepping up from 12 yards. Tucks it into the left.
We have to remind you, win this, you're in a grand final. Pull it now. For Julie will score.
Great penalty into that bottom left corner. Eusebio now for Team Mkers. Again to the left. They're all going to the left.
Perfect penalties. Perfect penalties so far. Mbappe for Julie. No, it's not working that time down the middle.
That is outrageous. She cannot do that. Kylian Mbappe stepping up to the spot. Tucks it to the right.
This advantage. Have to score this, or it will be game over. Chance steps up, another Panenka. And to put the game to bed and to send Team Makers into a grand final. Ollie Bolly from the spot. He's been involved in penalties all day long. Up steps Ronaldo, does score, and sends Team Makers into the grand final of the FIFAe Club World Cup. And you'd have to say, Richard, it's the end of a nightmare. The end of a nightmare for Team Makers there. Please, no more penalties, they'll be saying in that best of 5 come Sunday.
Incredible scenes in our semi-final right there. You see what it means to Ollie Bolly. Incredible. I mean, look, when Julie's dinking it down the middle twice in a row, honestly, it's just... It's almost indescribable. When you're dinking it right there, you can see all the results from our semi-finals. Astralis, 2-1 and 3-2 victories. Both players pulling their weight in that semi-final. And it was a penalty shoot-out showcase. Makers pulling out by the skin of their teeth in the end through 3 penalty shootouts. It doesn't get much tighter than that. Schalke will feel hard done by, but the Italian side of Makers go through to face Astralis.
You can honestly sound like a broken record, but with this tournament, the FIFAe Club World Cup, whether it's online, whether it's in person, Rich, it feels like every single time there's just drama. Whether it's 2v2 last year, whether it's this format we're finding ourselves involved in now, there is just so much drama. And as you said, Team Makers will be praying no more penalties come Sunday. That is your grand final, though. The best 2 teams from Zone 4 will be the Italian eSports organisation in Team Makers, made up of Ollie Bolly and Principe. And on the flip side, that 2018 FIFAe Club World Cup champion in Houston. This time in an Astralis top with Aggie, a man that has so much experience. Wow, incredible stuff.
And you said, Brandon, potentially to get 5 penalty shootout. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens in our grand final, in that best of 5.
No, really. Well, there we have it. That is the end of the knockout stages. We know the top 2 teams that will be involved in Sunday. And without any further ado, we're going to throw it back over to Layla and Spencer to break that down.
So, the very confident winners, Astralis, will face the penalty chasers, Makers, and we have a big final tomorrow.
I mean, we pretty much have the best final we can hope for in terms of big names. Okay, we've got a final with 4 players, all of which have won major tournaments, as the guy just mentioned there, Uston being the one that's won this event before, in a slightly different format and obviously for a different team in Bromby, but on paper, they're huge names. And, I mean, yeah, you've got one team that is relying, let's be honest, on penalties, but they're showing the wherewithal to keep coming through it. I mean, if you look at those games, they didn't win or lose a game across a 90-minute period in 6 matches in a row. So they don't deserve necessarily to go out, but do they deserve to be in the final? They get to go away now, sort of rest till tomorrow, plan, and maybe they can change things. Don't be surprised if they do get the win tomorrow.
Well, let's hear from Aggie from Astralis. He's here now. Amazing to talk to you. Here we are. Hi, Aggie. How are you doing?
Hi. Pretty happy and relieved right now. Obviously, a lot of games have been played throughout the last 2 days, but we're here, that we're in the final, and that was what we expected of ourselves. And yeah, just a really good feeling, but obviously there's more game to be played.
I've got to ask you, you compared yourself earlier to John O'Shea, and you said that Uston was your Wayne Rooney in your partnership. Surely you've upgraded, because today you've been fantastic.
Yeah, you have to check Twitter, mate. I just texted you that I'm a Darren Fletcher now.
Darren Fletcher. Well, where's the next step? If you have a good day tomorrow, where do you evolve to next?
I don't know. I won't say Darren Gibson. Let's say Park Ji-sung, perhaps. I mean, obviously today, I think that I really showed character for the team, and that's what makes me and Uston a very good partnership. Because in the entire tournament, including the qualification process, we have been close to be eliminated, and we just kept performing, each of us, and now we're performing at the same time, which is a really good feeling, and we got to keep that up for tomorrow, because we're going to play, in my opinion, the best club in the world together with us.
Well, congratulations, you're through. We'll see you Sunday, I believe, for the final. Well done.
Well done, mate.
And I believe we're going to go straight away to Makers goals. Let's take a little look at some of those. This will be perfect for you to walk us through, Spencer, some of these brilliant goals today.
I mean, Yeah, penalties, certainly. This is the winning penalty, Oli Bolli there. I mean, Oli Bolli, he's having an unbelievable year. He's having to repeatedly find what he needs to win in penalties as well. But I've got to say a word to the Schalke boys. They've both done so well over the last few days. Yuri and JH7, I should say. Two young players. I'm sure they've got a bright future. They nearly made the final. They'll feel a little bit heartbroken they didn't, to be honest, to go out on penalties and have so many penalties.
I'm not surprised they won the last lot of penalties. They practiced so many times throughout the show as well.
Yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, I wonder if they've got a strategy there. Both times, obviously, in the quarterfinals and the semis, we had Xbox first, which was this man, Oli Bolli. And he's found a way to win in penalties
Well,
twice.
perfect time to speak to you. Oli, how are you doing?
I'm shaking.
I bet you are.
It isn't good for my heart, I can swear.
Oh, we're frozen at the moment, but I think we can still hear you. So tell us how you're feeling, because it's been quite intense and such a lot of penalties. Did you practice them before today?
Yes, I actually have. I practice a lot with my friends in penalty shootouts tournaments. So yeah, I practice a lot and I feel very confident when I go into penalty shootouts.
Oli, I'm not surprised you're confident. You're coming into this event ranked third on the Global Series leaderboard, of course. Obviously, this is a slightly different event. You've got a partner here in Principe. Talk to me about that dynamic. How's it been working with the Italian?
Me and Principe we have become good friends after I signed for Mkers, and we practice a lot, playing a lot of friendlies and teach each other things, like penalties, for example. And I think we have a great duo.
Well, congratulations, Oli. You're through to the final, and good luck with that. Thank you for chatting to us. Let's take a little look then at our final for tomorrow. It is Astralis versus Mkers. What do you make of that game, Spence? It's going to be a big one.
It's the best game we could hope for, I think, in terms of the four people involved. They've all won huge events. Aggie, we just saw in there, two-time world champion. It'd be great for him. And I'm a big fan of Aggie, I have to say. He's one of the real model pros in the scene to come away with an E-Club championship, of course. You've got Ustin, who's won it before. Yep. He can win it again. The Danes know exactly how to do this. And of the four players, worth saying, three of them Scandinavian. You've got two Danes, one Swede. Shows you how strong that region is. But, of course, the Italian in Principe, who's won plenty himself. So it's going to be a great final to watch.
Well, one prediction we did get right today was that it was going to be an exciting afternoon. That is your Zone 4 all wrapped up. Later on, we'll be bringing you Zone 5 quarterfinals. We'll be back soon.